That's the best of. You've been voting in all week, sending your emails. So here's the clips that you wanted. Karl Pilkington in the chair now. The talked about, the acclaimed Educating Ricky.
Right, well, just in case anyone's new, doesn't normally listen.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm educating Ricky. Yeah. Do a bit of research in the week, find stuff, news, history, anything that's interesting. 3 stories. I give them a nice little headline. You take your pick. Yeah. Between now and 3, you're going to learn 3 things. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, the headlines are, I'll be no buying one of them.
Give us that again.
I'll be no buying one of them.
Nice, okay.
Yeah. We've also got hippopotamus news.
Okay. Okay.
And can you believe it?
Can you believe it?
Well, I'm going to go for
hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus
news.
Right, well, this one, it's... I'm not going to take the credit here. I heard Christian talking about this on breakfast, right? So it's a good story that happened. Basically, I don't know if I told you about it last week when we were having our spaghetti, but
I think you did.
Right,
I know what it is. I know what this is.
Okay, I've not heard this.
Right, there's a little midget. Right, there's a circus.
I'm loving it already.
Circus going on somewhere. I think it was in America. Yeah. And
is that present day or old times?
I'm talking like in the last 3 weeks.
Okay,
right. Little midget, circus, really packed out show. People are loving it.
Right, Steve, you asked the same question I did. I know.
So there's a little midget jumping up and down on a trampoline.
That's what circus is.
Right.
I pay good money to see it.
So everyone's clapping, and he's getting carried away.
Because he can't believe they're loving it. I didn't know they'd like a little person on a trampoline, but they love me.
But you know what it's like when if there's a crowd of people sort of encouraging you to sort of go higher and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he knew it was getting out of hand. But he was jumping and he was coming down the road going higher, and he's going really high in the air, right? So he's doing this. Crowd are clapping. There's a hippo, right, just sat next to the trampoline, getting ready to come on and do his act.
Oh, right. I thought he was in the audience.
Getting ready to do his act, Steve.
Yeah. So he's a ventriloquist.
What do you think he's sitting by the trampoline waiting to do his act?
Because
why does he sit in the dressing room and they go, 5 minutes, Mr. Muss, 5 minutes, Mr. Muss?
So anyway, right, so the hippo's there.
He's getting annoyed because the midget's
he's going,
into his
how can I
toe.
follow this? This is really annoying. They're going to be, no.
So he's thinking, he's already done the trampoline, my pogo stick out, he's never going to work.
Yeah, go on. So there's a hippo waiting. See, it's a great story, and I just know he embellishes it or it gets slightly wrong. Go on.
So
there's a midget jumping up and down. The hippo's getting annoyed.
The crowd are going mad. The midget's loving it. Can't believe his luck. Although you think he probably knows he's dicing with danger.
Yeah. So next thing you know, they're all saying higher, higher. He gives it one big, like, heavy sort of landing on the trampoline. Goes really high. But goes off at a funny angle.
Oh,
hypotenuse.
Okay.
Yeah. And sort of flies off.
Hypotenuse!
Sure.
Flies off at a funny angle.
Oh, dear.
Hippo's there. Swallows him whole. Crowd are clapping, thinking that's why the hippo was waiting there.
Rubbish. Rubbish.
It's not rubbish, though.
But no, maybe there was an accident in a circus with a midget and a hippo, but at no point was this hippo waiting to go on, going, come on. The midget flew off at a hypotenuse and landed in the hippo's mouth and was swallowed whole. This is what you embellish it. That is great. And
I have to say, though, Rick, when I heard midget, trampoline, hippopotamus, I was thinking accident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah,
maybe. I mean,
it is that you should never put those 3 together.
Never.
It's a recipe for disaster. Everyone knows that. Midget, trampoline, hippopotamus. Are you mental?
You're asking for trouble.
Well,
you know when he told me it, he said, and the midget, he didn't mention the hippopotamus, and he said the midget went on, and soon he fell off, and the hippo ate him. And I said, sorry. What was the hippo doing there? He went, it's a circus.
I've never heard of a circus having a hippo.
No, I hippos do?
What can they do? You can't train them, can you? Aren't they like very deadly? They're huge, aren't
You can't have a hippo in a circus. You're not thinking of Zippo.
they? He's neither clown.
Yeah. And it wasn't some sort of where Zippo was eating a midget and it's some sort of horrible sexual act.
No, it was definitely. I heard it on breakfast, right?
Okay, sorry.
No, it's definitely fact.
Yeah, okay,
It's definitely
right,
truth.
okay, good. Well, let's play a record then.
4.9, I'm Ricky Gervais. With me, Stephen Merchant. It's the best of. You've been voting in all week, sending your emails. So here's the clips that you wanted. We and Carl went out, right? With me and Jane, Carl and Johnny and Gigi, wasn't it?
Gigi,
Is it important to win?
No.
Okay.
But we're walking on the street. Carl was there, though, and he can back me up on this. We had a curry. We were walking back. And this little funny homeless fella, didn't he?
Mm.
He I got to tell it before I go, didn't he?
Yes.
He came up to me, right? And he recognised it. And he came up to me and he went, oh, he said, I've just nicked 5 of your DVDs from HMV. And he shook my hand. He was so happy with it. And I went, right, excellent. He went, all I do is I just swing the bag over the top like that when I'm going out. And he had a bag full of DVDs, didn't he? And he was so pleased to tell me that he'd stolen. Isn't that great?
He said they're going like hotcakes.
Yeah, he said they're going up because they are.
Yeah, you're nicking them.
I know. We get paid for them, though, don't we?
So not the stolen ones?
Don't we?
No. What do you mean? Did you sign them for him? I know you idiot. What, so he just nicked 5?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
You say he was homeless, was it?
Well, I don't know, maybe.
No.
Surely, how would he have seen the show? He'd just walked past Curry's one morning.
Dixon's.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell you,
Seen a trailer for it. Thought, interesting.
I don't know if he was homeless. I didn't go into his home
Sure.
life.
He
But,
shook his hand though, and
but he made Carl look smart. Do you know what I mean? So, how does he sell them? Where does he sell them? Does he go to people and go, do you want an office DVD? They're not nicked.
yeah,
£4.
yeah, exactly. Are these stolen? No.
No. They've still got the tags on them.
Well, it's like those people who those cab drivers that you'll meet at sort of 3 a.m. who've just got a car,
Yeah.
and just went out with a car,
Yeah.
and just I'll pick people up and charge them.
Yeah.
I got in one once. I said to him, the guy just pulled up. I said, he said I was in like East London. I'm going back to North London. I said, yeah, going to Swiss Cottage. He went, sure, hop in. We set off. He went, do you know the way? I said, well, not really, no. I thought you know the cab behind. He went, no, don't really know the way there. I said, have you got an A to Z? He went, no. I thought, well, if you're going to go out just on the, just winging it as a cab driver,
Yeah.
2 things, take a map and a torch. He didn't have either. He said, well, I'll probably get to Camden. I said, well, I'll direct you from there. Drove on for about 5 minutes, making conversation. In fact, 5 minutes later, he went, do you know the way to Camden? I thought you knew the way to Camden. I don't really know the way. I thought it was.
Oh,
It was loot.
let me out. £4.
Exactly. And that's, I don't know who's got that sort of time on their hands that they just think it's 3 a.m. I'm at a loose end. I think I'll go out doing a bit of cabbing.
Oh. Yeah.
Because your dad was a cabbie, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, couldn't stand it, but it's good money.
He was he wasn't like a chancer though.
What was he doing when he took that little Forrest Gump in a weedy bin?
That was part of the cab company thing. They had to do like a charity event once a year, and he did it 1 year. Never asked him again.
Tell us the story again.
No, I'd rather not.
Why?
Because we got a few sort of complaints about it.
Why? What do you get complaints about it?
Because he put a kid in a bin, and it's not the thing to do. So,
But we could use it as a sort of sobering lesson for people.
Yeah, tell it like a you shouldn't do it.
nah, yeah, but that's how I did it last time. But people still didn't like it. All the stuff I tell you, we don't take the mickey out of people on purpose.
No.
It's real life, isn't it? And that goes on in life.
Yeah,
My dad was saying that in hospital, though. Do you know I was in hospital?
yeah.
He did some jokes about old people and that. And he said, at the end of the day, if something makes you laugh, it's funny. Do you know what I mean? So, what you meant to do? And laughing's good for you.
Yeah.
So,
But being laughed at isn't as good for you, is it?
No, but there's probably more people laughing at one person. So if you balance it out, there's only one person who's upset and there's a bunch of people laughing. So it's
That's genius. Give me an example of that. Give me an example.
Well, for instance, Karl Pilkington as he talks and the people listening.
yeah. No, give me an example of like, so,
I can't because, again, that's what I'm saying. I can't tell you the story because there might be someone out there who, this person might even be listening and think, I forgot about that and you brought it all back to me.
Yeah.
So I prefer to leave it, but I think people know.
Why did he put him in the bin in the first place?
Because he was getting out of hand.
What was he doing though?
You see, I can't explain.
He can't. Don't be silly.
I prefer to leave it, honestly.
What was he doing? Was he annoying him?
He was annoying my dad and the other people in the cab.
Right.
And he thought, how can I deal with this before it gets too out of hand?
Yeah.
He pulled over and put the lad in a wheelie bin.
I'm gonna pass.
So we'll leave that.
XFM 104.9. Ricky and I are on holiday. Obviously, it's Christmas time, but Carl is here in the studio. He's pressing buttons. All right, Carl?
All right.
What do you make of the first genetically modified baby?
Oh.
Are you worried about this?
Do you know what did they do? What?
Let me see what it says here.
Isn't it just choosing the eye colour?
Well, this is the concern, isn't it? That in the future you'll be able to decide whether it's a boy or a girl, how intelligent it is, what it looks like, is it handsome, is it ugly? Obviously, no one will choose an ugly baby, and so on and so on and so on. And so it means that where will it lead? Where will it end, Carl? Are you concerned?
I've thought about this a lot.
What will us three look like in the future if they're being, genetically modified beautiful people? What will we be like? How will we be considered in society?
True, yeah. Well, we've talked about this before, haven't we? About the cloning thing.
Yeah,
that's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think it matters because at the end of the day, right, you might look like some other kid, but it's the way you're brought up that will change your features and the way you are, your personality.
If you lie, you get a long nose, don't you?
Well, no, but listen, right, because I remember when we, I was growing up on this estate.
This is going to be good. Go on.
No, it's not. It's just an example of how this doesn't work.
Go on.
So we don't need to worry, sort of thing.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So growing up on this estate, and there was this woman about 4 houses down, right, who's a bit rough. All right.
Didn't fancy her.
Oh God, no. Right, but she had a
Why?
baby.
Well, tell me about her first. I'm interested in this woman. What was she?
It was a very...
She looked like a man in a dress.
I mean, I didn't grow up in a posh house or anything. And I'm not saying that if you live in a bit of a rough house, you're a bad person.
What did she look like?
But anyone can
tattoos,
clean up.
Looked like Tony Green with a fag on.
They didn't clean up much, right?
Oh.
Which, even if you've not got a lot of money, you can still try and make a place look nice.
Yeah.
Right? But she didn't. And a kid used to take a horse into the house.
Sorry. Whoa, Neddy. What do you mean a kid used to take a horse into the house? Where did he get a horse?
Must have nicked it from somewhere. Must have gone.
So you've seen a horse in it? No.
What, is that from outside the saloon round the corner?
Yeah, was it just tied up with a bit of leather?
Right.
Oh, that's great. Did Big Jake come looking for it?
I'd been out.
Oh. Sorry, let me get this. This was before the lynching stopped or after.
Where did he get a horse from? What do you mean he must have nicked it? His mum said, where'd you get that from? I bought it. All right then. But keep it out of the kitchen.
I don't want you going Catlin rustling.
Where did he get a horse from, Carl? And how long did he have it for? Was he leading it or riding it? Mum, open the door. I can't stop.
I can't stop it. Open the patio door as well.
Looks like we got us a runaway. What do you mean?
I don't know, but the thing is they couldn't afford to buy one because they're not cheap. So I'm just guessing. Maybe that's wrong with me. But I think...
He had a horse?
Yeah, right. So
that's why the family didn't have any money. They'd spend it on the horse.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't think they would have bought it. So anyway...
Yeah, it's wise to whisper, Carl, in case they're listening.
Yeah. And
they could be in the room next door.
It's not buying it, it's keeping it as well. Oh,
so I was like in the car with my dad coming into the avenue, and you used to have to drive down it to turn round. And sort of go back to our house. You had the traditional method of transport. Yeah. And the horse was in the lounge, reading a paper, just like walking around. Oh God! And when I was doing, I tried to earn myself some money once by flogging little flowers in plastic cups. What? This is genius. It just keeps coming. What do you mean you're trying to flog little flowers? What do you mean? Wait. Let's play a record. Let's play a record and come back to this, because the story's going to just unravel and unravel. It's going to go for hours. Let's play a track, deeper and deeper. It's like an onion, isn't it? We've created a whole world here where there's a man living with a horse. Just walking around the lounge. I come from the West Country. I've never heard anything like that. I just think of a big sort of like orange carpet and it's got a rediffusion telly and this horse going, I'm fed up in here. Exactly. This is really... I am not taking the rubbish out again. Yeah.
Right, play a record. Let's have Velvet Underground. We've got that lined up.
Oh,
Yeah, the
God.
classic from the first album. I'm waiting for the man. Let's come back to the horse in a second.
Little flowers in pots. What do you mean?
Velvet Underground and Nico, which apparently peaked at a disappointing 171 in the US charts.
Think of that.
And that's obviously Lou Reed, the Velvet Underground, and Waiting for the Man.
Yeah, great track. So we were talking, we were doing White Van Man, and we got onto
We got on to genetically modified babies, but
and then
somehow
Carl started telling a story about someone with a horse, and then he got onto he was trying to make money selling flowers. Just do the flowers
Well,
briefly.
hang on, I just want to recap slightly. So there was a family, and who had the horse in the family?
It was
Because you lived on an estate in Manchester.
So
didn't
the
you?
the mother was a right pig, apparently.
Well,
I don't know if that's
you
relevant.
don't need to go that far.
But you-
but
well,
what
go
I'm
on.
trying to do is like make a picture for you so you understand.
What
So
did
what
she
a
look
picture
like?
it
Who
is.
did she look like?
Bit of a, and no disrespect to her, bit like Pauline Quirk.
Quirky, yeah.
All right.
Okay, I knew you were going to say that. I knew it was going to be Pauline. Did she have any tats? Did she have any
I've
tattoos?
never got that close to it.
Okay, all right.
So who had the horse? Was this her son or her
No,
husband?
her daughter.
Her daughter had stolen a horse,
Yeah, from I don't know where. There was I think there was some stables down the road or something.
and they kept the horse in the house with
They
them.
kept it in the house.
Did
but
they
didn't
get
have it
caught?
for long.
No.
So, and you said you were in the house one day and you saw the
No,
horse in
what
there.
happened was I was they did this thing at school about raising money for charity, right? For some local charity. And they said you can do anything to raise money. And they came out with all these ideas and I thought, that's good.
What was the charity?
But I don't know. I thought, forget the charity.
Yeah, that's
I'm
just
a
a good
charity
money
here.
making overnight.
So-
You're a charity.
So so I asked my mum for some, because she used to have a lot of flowers around the house.
Sure.
I said, can I just take some snippings off them? And I'll go and buy some plastic cups and got some soil out of the garden, planted the bits of plants in them,
Yeah.
got a tray,
Yeah.
had about 25 plants on it, selling
Yeah.
them for 25 pence each.
Excellent. Did you sell any?
Yeah, so loads.
Did you just cut? You didn't just cut them and stick them in the
Yeah, they
soil.
wouldn't have survived.
Oh.
But I think people sort of thought, well, good on him for trying. But anyway, so I went round to theirs because I thought their house could do with a bit of colour and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a bit rough. So as I went
The horse went, thank God for that breakfast. They've been feeding me kitty cat.
So I got up to the door and they opened the door and it was one of them houses where no carpet
Yeah, a horse in the living room.
You know.
We've all been there.
and,
Yeah.
and the horse was walking around the living room.
Oh.
I looked quite happy and everything because I always say that about animals.
Black Beauty
right?
was on. Yeah.
Well, think about it, right? If you were a horse, where would you rather be? In a little wooden hut with a load of hay or in like a house with a
Central heating.
three-piece suite and
Sure.
a telly and that?
Telly and that.
Because, no, but I was saying this the other day,
And an Atari.
right? I was walking through London. the
Commodore
other day.
64,
Yeah.
rubbish.
Exactly.
Walking through London with Suzanne, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like homeless people always have dogs. And
Yeah.
she said, "Oh, I hope she looks after it." I said, "They've got that dog is happier than most dogs
Right.
because people always walk past and give it a pat on the head.
Yeah.
It's with its owner all the time.
Yeah.
It's out in the open. It's not locked up in a house.
Yeah.
It doesn't
You know what I
eat,
mean?
but other than that.
No, it does eat though. They're always all right. So that's what I was saying. I think this horse was doing all right for
Yeah.
itself. Do you know what I mean?
Well, not many horses have got their own house.
Exactly.
For a start, yeah.
But anyway, that's what
That's by
we were
the
talking
by.
about. Yeah,
Yeah.
So anyway, this family, who's a bit what we were talking about. It was about cloning.
Genetically modified kids
Yeah.
and all that
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
Right. Now, what I'm saying is you could say, right, Steve, you could have a baby, right? And Ricky could see it and say, God, I want one that looks like that.
Yeah.
Right.
It could happen, Rick.
So,
Come on, work with him.
so you take it to your doctors, and I don't know what they do. They inject it with something or whatever,
Yep, that's how it's done.
and get a little baby, and there it is. It looks the same. Now, the thing is, you separate. You both go off and do your own things.
Yep.
Right. Now, you look at Stephen. You look after your baby.
Yeah.
You treat it well. You give it good food and
I'm a
that,
good dad.
all the vitamins and stuff.
Yeah.
Ricky just gives it cheese. Right. So then it changes its looks. It goes a bit fat. It gets tired easily and that sort of thing. Now, when this family,
Why am I just feeding a baby cheese?
right, this family had a horse in their house.
Yeah.
They had a little baby, and my mum went round and said, "You're not going to believe this, but it's a beautiful looking baby, right?"
Yeah.
And I was like, well, And the weird thing is, it was a good looking kid, but as time went on, they didn't really look after it. And I'm not saying like abusing it, but it used to run around. It used to play out till like 10 at night.
Yeah.
It used to chase cars.
Right.
It was a bit...
Did it have hooves?
Yeah, no. Chase cars.
Right.
What sort of kid chases cars? Oh God!
No.
Was it called Rover? Did it catch stick?
It's Liam, it was called, right?
Right.
Now, the weird thing is, it was a good-looking kid, but as time went on, and all that, like, not eating properly and its hair was all patchy.
It's not Liam Gallagher, is it?
And chasing cars and that, and it became an ugly kid.
It's definitely Liam Gallagher.
And that's what I'm saying, right? You can clone all you like, but at the end of the day, it's how you're brought up.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Whoa.
Life.
Wow.
That was a hell of a point.
Oh, God.
But am I right?
You're always right, Carl. I'm looking Gervais with me, Steve, and Carl. Carl, why have you got a headache? You got a headache?
Just a bit stressful because the moves on this week.
Oh, you're moving house?
Oh, by the way, the XFM listeners came round to my house and bought the futon and table.
Did they?
Were they happy with it?
Quite normal. They were well happy.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe the luck with it.
What do you mean quite normal? What do you mean quite normal?
Well, I was a bit scared, innit, getting people round.
I imagine they were scared.
Well,
And were they excited to see you? Could they? I mean, they were, could you tell that they were pretty pleased to see you?
no, I don't think so. I mean,
You're
but-
Karl Pilkington.
yeah, but the fellas sort of, I mean, they brought the whole family round, which was a bit odd.
Well, it's not often they get the chance to visit a living freak.
Anyway, no, they were nice. They were
And you're
nice.
moving now. Yeah? He said he phoned me up today. You know, it was absolutely tipping it down. Right? He had to cycle in, right? Because he said, because of the move, he doesn't want to leave his bike round there. Right? And he said, and Suzanne, oh, I can't say this in case he's listening, can I?
He won't know. will he?
He said Suzanne's hired the oldest removal man in London.
You should hear him. And the thing is, right, we booked him because everyone else happened to be booked out, but this fella's free, right? So he called up this morning. I've never spoke to him, but he was on the phone. He sounded about 90.
Yeah.
Carl thinks that he's going to have to do all the work.
And the thing is, right,
Cheap.
it seems
He
to be
only
cheap.
wanted some Werther originals.
Yeah,
Right, listen, it seemed to be cheap because it's £50 an hour. But how long is it going to take him?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So-
genius.
When's the move on then? When's the
Oh, he's coming round. He came round today to bring some empty boxes, and he was struggling with them. So it actually happens on Wednesday.
Oh, God.
Anyway,
I woke up this morning, yeah.
Feeling fine.
It's not a blues song. And I turned my phone on, and it was from Carl, and it went, "Forget it, I've made my mind up." And I thought,
Wow.
what is that? And I
Forget
phoned him.
it. I've made my
Yeah,
mind.
I went, "Carl, what is it?" He went, "Oh, no, it's about the text I sent you last night." I went, "Well, what was it? I just got this text." He went, I was just wondering. I was thinking last night. He said, "Supposing you had to have your hands removed,
Sure.
right?" And the doctor said, "Well, you can either have them stay like that with stumps, or I can sew feet there. What would you have?" And I was bleary-eyed, and I went, "The stumps." He went, "Yeah." I went, "All right." He went, "Yeah."
And then
And
what
that-
was his follow-up text to that?
And then I got the text. It was obviously before it, and it went, and it was like quite serious. What would you do if surgeon not your hands? Would you have stumps or the feet? Right now, the way when I said he's made his mind up, and I went the stumps, he went, "Yeah." I think secretly he decided on the feet, but was too embarrassed to tell me.
there's a little bit of what would you do? Because
But why did you think of this? Why did you think of this?
girlfriend's
this come
away,
about?
right?
Yeah, no, that's not why you start thinking bizarre
I'll tell
surgery
you now,
devices.
right? I'll let you into my little mind, right? Last night, I had some beans on toast, right? Because she was away,
It's good already.
She was away. She had some beans on toast. She
Right.
went wild.
right? Now, I was stood up. I live on on a high street, right? So I'm washing up. I'm looking out the window. First thing that had my attention is I can look into other people's flats, right?
Yeah.
And it was weird how all these different lives were going on. I was watching them, and everybody had the telly on and was watching Volcano, right? Which was on last night.
Right.
And I thought, oh, that's weird, right? I can see them all watching it. And it was like a little Chinese lad who was dancing around in some underpants.
Yeah.
And then there's a little old woman who lives downstairs who was reading a book, and she's always reading a book every night. And it's like, I have a better life than her. And then there's like some sort of bouncer who's always getting ready to go out late at night with all the black on. He looks like a bouncer. So I was watching all this life going on. I thought,
did you witness a murder while you were doing it?
Yeah.
It was like that sort of Sliver film where that bloke had loads of tellies watching people's lives. So that was going on in my mind. And then I was washing up and I picked up the plate and I thought, it's amazing, isn't it? The human body, the way you can just sort of, I want to pick that up, and you do.
Yes.
And the way your hands work, right?
Yeah.
You've got 5 little digits, but it's just the right amount to do what you've got to do, right? So I'm cleaning the plate.
Sorry, Carl. Stop. It's just the right amount. Might be one of the most genius things I've ever heard said. I would love David Attenborough to phone you up and say, Carl, how do I word this about the evolution of the mammalian front limb? Just go, we'll just say it's the right amount.
But it is. One extra would get in the way.
Yeah.
And one less would just make it that little bit more tricky when picking up a bit of a slippery dish.
Sure, or buying gloves. Yeah.
A slippery dish.
So then I was thinking, right, imagine like going to the doctors and he's saying, yeah, everything's all right, your heart's good and everything, but...
Your art's good? What, your Larry's, or...
Yeah, your heart, you're in good form and what have you. It's good news. I had Gianno in earlier. He's not looking good.
Yeah. Fat swallow.
But you're all right, but your hands need to come off.
Right. Blimey. That's bad. Like, I'd get a second opinion initially.
But I bet good news, I've got a nice pair of feet I can sort you out with.
Yeah.
And he puts them on, and then I was thinking, right, first of all, washing up, what would that be like? I thought,
Steve,
that'd be tricky.
Right. Yeah.
And then the second thing was, it'd probably ruin the sort of the shape of your jumper.
Because you have to keep putting the feet through there. Yeah.
And then I thought, but I could still cycle in.
Okay.
To work.
You could run in.
Well, that's the thing.
You'd be really fast.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I thought I could still cycle because I could balance. And then I thought, but the only thing is I probably couldn't pull the brakes. Because of the little short things.
Yeah.
And then, like you, I thought, but then again, you'd run in half the time. So that's what was going on in last night.
Right.
That's what I was thinking about.
So did you
How long did this take?
Well, how long does it take to wash up?
Right. Because I imagine you just being there for like all night.
Probably 25 minutes.
How long did the little Chinese fella dance for in his pants?
He's always doing it. Last night he was at it for like 10 minutes.
Just, yeah.
And his girlfriend never sits in the same room as him. She's always sat in the bedroom.
She's going, you dance in pants again, I go in next door.
Well, she was in the bedroom. She's always in the bedroom, sat on the floor, on the mobile phone.
Right.
All the time, yeah. It's weird how people's lives are just like, it is like that Groundhog Day thing. It's like, he's jumping about in his underpants. The old woman sat there reading a book.
Yeah.
And that's what got me thinking about my life.
Do you think she ever goes...
Are you sure she's not dead? Every time you look down there, she's just flicking through it. She's just reading this book. The pages never turn. She never seems to finish it. She never moves from her chair.
Are you sure the Chinese
her cats are dead around her?
I'm going into next door again. That little round-headed fella's looking in. He's looking in at me. The bouncer goes, "Don't worry, love. I'll go and beat him up." But he's always getting ready.
That's true.
They see you staring at and washing up, going, "I could have feet here," and they get scared. The woman's dead. Oh,
Carl, can you tell us roughly which neighbourhood you live in, so that we know?
It's central.
Central, is it?
Yeah.
Wow, imagine if that little... Was he a Chinese fellow, did you say?
Yeah.
Imagine if he was listening now. I'd love him to call in and explain his actions.
Well, he might be on some other radio station talking about a lad who's always washing up and looking at his hands in a mysterious way.
But do we know this doctor that would go, well, all right, Carl, you can either leave him as stumps or I've got every little pair of feet. Why? I told Jane this, and Jane went, "Is that the only choice? Could you say I could have some dead man's hands? Have you got any? Where'd you get the feet from? Where'd you get the feet from? Can I have? What would you rather have then? Human feet or monkey paws?"
Well, that wasn't an option last night. If the doctors said...
No, it wasn't an option last night, but don't forget, it's in your head, Carl. This didn't happen.
No, but I'm just saying at the time, that's all the doctor had to offer.
But it's your head. You can go anywhere. No. It wasn't a real doctor to offer. It's in your head. You can go anywhere. You're not trapped.
Yeah, but if you can do anything, then you'd say we'll sort us out some other hands.
Fair point. That's fair record.
You're listening to the best of basically Karl Pilkington.
Right, you ready then? So, just in case you haven't heard it before, I'll give you some initials of a band or an artist.
We're not doing rockbusters now, are we?
Yeah, I thought, well, we've just...
Oh, then we keep that going. Then we got. Well, I love educating Ricky. That's my favourite thing now.
Well, what do you want to do, Steve? I mean,
let's hear the clues.
It's just that he's sort of bigged up the prizes.
And so this is only by email. Give the email address out now for people to write it down now, Karl.
Right, it's ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk. Only entries on email.
Yeah.
You're going to get 3 clues. You've got to get them all right.
And you win all the stuff.
You win all those prizes we just said. Okay, Karl, go on then.
Right, and just a quick example, one of the first ones we did, it was like AK, and the clue was exploding pet,
yeah,
and it was atomic kitten, right? Yeah. So you understand how it works. Now, these are your clues. The first one, that army has got some nice trenches.
That army has got some nice trenches. Excellent.
Yeah. And the initials there are DW.
Do you write some of the questions for 15 to 1?
Go on.
So that army has got some
similar phrasing.
Trenches. Okay.
Okay.
The second one.
What were the initials there, Karl, on that person?
DW.
DW.
Yeah. Right. The second one. The top of them curtains are all wrecked. All the materials all worn.
He acts it out though. We've got to get him on telly. We have got to get him on telly because his little face and his gestures.
That's the second one. The initials being HV. Okay, the top of those curtains are wrecked. All the materials all worn out. Right, HV. And the final one is the final clue. I was in Texas the other week. Right, I tripped and landed on my knees in a puddle.
What's the initials?
WH for that one. So I was in Texas, I tripped up, landed on my knees in a puddle. So that's WH.
Incredible.
You've got it!
Is it great?
It's fantastic! It's decimal.
Okay, tell me during the record. Do you remember you're playing for these compilation albums? We got the Fatboy Slim DVD, Linda Green on VHS, and of course Executive Decision starring Kurt Russell as well.
Okay, 104.9, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant. We're not actually here. It's the best of. Okay, what's the next one? What's the next educating Ricky?
I don't know. See, like I say, I was looking around and there's stuff that is interesting. Right? I was looking on the web.
But there's no point.
Well, it's just that I found one about...
what's the point?
About a lad who 8 years old, but he's still breastfed. Now... I don't know if you can get anything out of
that. Is that what his mum said?
So,
what do you mean? I don't know if I can get anything out of that. You don't need to.
No, it's just that.
Where did you read that?
That was on the internet.
Right? Oh, well, yeah.
You're always unspecific when you mention it. It's just it was on the internet.
Well, I'm trying to think what I put in. I think I put in Y to see if I'd confuse a computer.
Carl, you are.
No,
honestly,
I did a search, put in Y, and he came up with funny things that, like, why is this person doing that? Why is that? And it had a picture of this 8-year-old lad, sort of, on his mum's nipple, and it was saying, is this healthy?
You sure that wasn't asking you that question?
What? I put in Y just to confuse the computer. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh, look, last week, I was walking home with him, and I went, he was saying something stupid, and I went, I've got a competition for next week. Let's do a phone-in, and it's called Karl Pilkington, Genius or Fool.
Yeah.
Right? And he went, No. I went, why not? He went, well, they'd be confusing because they say there's no difference between genius and being a fool.
They do that, don't they?
No, but it's rubbish. And people say there's a fine line between madness and genius. And, it's a ridiculous soundbite. They don't say there's a fine line between a genius and an idiot.
Well, the people who do are idiots.
Yeah.
So what would you do there, though, just to sort of wrap that little thing up? What would you do? That lad loves his mum's his mum's milk.
What are you asking me to come up with?
No, I'm
A
just
title for the story?
No. It's just what would you do? Right.
What do you mean? What would I do?
Well, it's causing a bit of a problem in the area, right?
What area?
In America, I think it was.
Oh, America are a problem, are they? George Bush is worried about this kid who's breastfeeding at 8.
Imagine it like this, right?
Right. No, so Carl, what are you asking me about this spurious story you saw on the internet?
I saw on the internet, there's an 8-year-old lad, he likes his mum's milk, and it's saying, is this right? Should it
No,
be
it's
going
not.
on?
But what
do you want Ricky to do about it? It's not his responsibility.
yeah.
No, but the little town that he lives in, they're all causing an uproar, right? Going, this isn't right. You know, I can't let my kid play out in case he's in the garden with his mum getting a bit hungry, right? So, what should they do? Because his mum's saying, well, he likes it.
Yeah.
And he, you know, what do you do?
I don't know the laws.
No, but I'm not asking you to sort out the laws. I'm just saying, if you lived in that neighbourhood, what would you say? If you went up to him and said, look, everyone's getting a bit fed up with this, look.
I'd say, what would I do? What do you mean, what would I do? what are you asking me?
Right, it doesn't matter.
No. What are you asking me? What are you asking me and Steve and the public?
I'm just saying, say if you live next door to this woman.
Yeah.
Right? The kid's hungry, 8 years old. He's out playing on his bike and he goes, Mum, I'm getting a bit peckish. And he goes, all right, son. She whops one out. And he starts having his milk, right? You live next door, you're putting your washing out and you see this going on. You're getting a bit sick of it because it's gone on for months.
8 years, I see.
Why is it your business? Why are you such a nosy neighbour that you're concerned?
What would you do, Carl? Let's turn it back on him.
Yeah.
What would you do?
What's your solution?
What would you do?
Well, I thought I'd say, right, why are you doing this? And she'd say, because he likes it. And I go, all right then, put it in a bowl first.
And you think that would sort that out?
No, because I was thinking about the whole thing, right? And you do that when you're a baby and everything's all right, innit?
Yeah.
No one bats an eyelid at a little baby having a bit of milk from its mum's breast, right?
Yeah.
You'd almost say it was natural.
But you grow out of it. It's like you don't see. It got me thinking about things you don't see. And you don't see.
Did you put this into a computer? Show me things you don't see.
What else don't you see?
Well, you don't see like an old man having a Twix. You never. So what?
No. You know the terrible thing about all this, Steve, is he's right.
You don't see it all.
No, I know that's the terrible thing.
So what they have got, right? They've made old man toffees, haven't they? They've come up with Gervais.
Is that a song? Oh God! You don't see it.
So they've got their Werthers, right?
Yeah.
So,
look at him. You think he's giving a lecture at Oxford?
It's not going anywhere.
No, go on. Sorry. Go on.
I'm just saying.
Right.
You grow out of things.
Yeah.
And the old man, I'm sure when he was a kid, he'd have a Twix.
Yeah.
But now it doesn't look right. So he's having...
It doesn't look right.
So...
Right.
I don't think Werther's originals were specially designed for old people. I think they were sweets that just happened to have been made for years. That's why old people eat them.
Yeah.
They didn't go, hang on, there's a market here. I've noticed old people aren't eating Twixes. Quick, let's make some old man sweets.
But the little advert, he gives it to his grandson as well, doesn't he? He goes, I have a Werther's original.
No, I think it cuts though before he throws it back in his face and goes, get me a Twix.
Did you see the stylish? You've been voting in all week, sending your emails. So here's the clips that you wanted. You've got a real problem with Rick Wallow, haven't you?
He turns my stomach.
I know, but don't...
Because he's arrogant as well,
exactly.
though. That's the problem.
Don't explain to people that...
No, he is a bit arrogant.
It's his whole thing, that it's the whole package, so to speak, that you don't
there's another thing in this quote, because
it's not just the fact that he eats too much.
He tried, apparently, to lose some weight, and he said, the first month I lost 11 pounds, the next I lost a stone, but in the third my body did somersaults and I put on 9 pounds. I had a slip up. I can't say when, why, or how, but it just sneaked up on me.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Don't believe it just sneaked up on him.
That body's never done a somersault in its life.
No. It just sneaked up on him.
Yeah.
It was the cakes again.
Yeah.
It was the same old cakes as before. It was exactly the same problem.
Sleep eating.
Yeah.
It's called.
It was the KFC bucket again. It was the family-sized KFC bucket for breakfast.
Dear.
poor man. The other thing is that I don't think that's a very good shock tactic for a doctor to tell a 20-something, well, to be honest, you've got 20 years to live.
Yeah.
That's not,
Doesn't mean anything
and
when
when I
you're
was 20, the thought of dying at 40 was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't want to live to 40. I
Yeah.
just thought, oh, what can you do when you're 40?
Yeah.
Just laying around doing nothing,
Eating cheese. And then you got there and you discovered...
No, but someone sent me...
dream came true.
Sophie here sent me something, and she said, I realise you're not Graham Norton, but I had to send you this. And she sent me the top of a little cream cheesy thing, and it's the brand name is Gervais.
Oh, God, that is... They've named the cheese after you.
I think it's a big French company, and this is from the Czech Republic. It's all over Europe. And so
that would be a dream come true, wouldn't it, if they named a cheese after you?
No, I think it's probably, ancestors. And so cheese is in my blood.
Sure.
Quite
It
literally.
literally is, yeah. Another heavy Friday night, was it?
It comes out of pores like those Play-Doh things. Yeah. I can squeeze out different shapes.
Jane, bring the Stilton in. It's Friday night.
This isn't fried.
Exactly.
But yeah, so we can't really have a go at Rick Waller. I eat too much, but
but you're not big. I mean, one of the other contestants on the Fat Club, Celebrity Fat Club, is another one is Jono Coleman.
Oh, we love Jono.
Now Jono, I don't know, Jono, he's that guy who does he used to be on TV, and I think he does a breakfast show on a rival station, doesn't he?
He's happy, isn't he?
He's so cheery, and he's a really nice bloke, Jono. But
it's funny because he does a breakfast show on Heart, which is wrecking his own. There's a bit of irony.
Oh, I love Carl.
Thanks, Carl.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's good.
But we've met Jono a couple of times. We saw him at a couple of, not wishing to say not to show off, but a couple of awards dues.
Yeah, that's showing off.
But
like people would have seen dead there.
Well, yeah, but we went to one where everyone was in like tuxedos or suits and ties. Not Jono. Jono was wearing a pair of Bermuda shorts,
big Bermuda
and
shorts, knee-length Bermuda
shirt.
shorts with just these little.
But I saw him again another time, and he had shorts on at a similar event, and I've seen him since in the street, and he's all. I'm wondering if he can wear trousers. I don't think he can actually wear trousers. I don't know if there's a medical reason for that. Whether he's just his legs are too fat.
I think the material is a waste of money. I think it's just that you can get shorts that big and they're comfortable, and I mean, to be quite honest, I don't want to squeeze into a tuxedo anyway. So if you can go, I'd love to turn up those things in Bermuda shorts.
Well, of course.
Flip-flops.
But do you think he started off by wearing, maybe he just had the upper half was a tuxedo with the tie
and then the shorts
and the shorts underneath, and he would just have to come in, kind of sneak behind, a sideboard.
Potted plant.
Or a potted plant, or bring his kids ahead of him.
Yeah.
You are wearing trousers, aren't you?
Of course I am. Yeah.
In you go.
Kids move a bit. Well, no.
Exactly.
Of course I'm wearing trousers. Why would I?
Wearing trousers.
And then you just thought, this isn't fooling anyone.
So now I'm going to make a wacky effort to sort of,
The next zone is, I've heard he's going in a grass skirt and a garland around and he's going to come in limboing.
But you did ask if you could go to the BAFTAs in a dressing game, didn't you?
Just for ease.
Yeah.
But, right, is this talking about diets and stuff, right?
Go on.
They've come up with a drug that they tested it out on a mouse, right? They said, it's a problem that weight is a big issue in the world, and a lot of people are depressed, and that probably like Rick Waller.
Well, I'm depressed looking at Rick Waller.
Well,
Oh.
I mean, you could sort out Rick by, Jono is an old man. He's got loads of money.
He's not old.
No, but he's getting on a bit, right?
He's about.
No, but hang on a minute. What I mean is he does his own shopping, right? So I bet it's hard.
What do you mean?
Because he's like, how old is he? 35. Right, he's got loads of money. He does his own shopping. So when he goes to the supermarket and he passes, the sponge cake section, it must be tough when you've got loads of money to burn that you go, just one more.
Yeah.
One more.
So we are getting close to libel here, I think.
No. I'm saying how it is, because I've tried like losing a little bit of weight.
Have you?
And it is difficult when you're in Waitrose and you see a little chocolate muffin and you think, well, one more and I'll do without.
Do you like a little chocolate muffin now and again?
Yeah, right.
Is that your favourite thing?
So the thing is,
let him finish his point.
So the thing is, right, now with Rick, he lives at home with his mum. So why doesn't his mum just say, I'm going to buy less this week, and if you eat it all, you're not getting any more?
Yeah.
That's sort that
Does
out.
he live
a short, sharp shot?
I bet he does.
So you don't actually know if this is true or not.
No, but anyway, right? So this drug they've come up with.
They've tested this on mice, haven't they? No, I'm worried if they haven't tested it on mice.
Thank God for that.
It's definitely been tested on mice.
Definitely.
They fed a mouse a load of cake.
Yeah.
Right? And it went a little bit chubby, and he said, right, stop a minute. And then they gave it this drug that makes you lose weight.
Yeah.
And its weight went down, but the only bad side effect was its eyes were popping out.
Well, that seems to be fine then. Let's give it to Jono. There doesn't seem to be any problem.
Oh, Rick should get some of that.
Yeah, Struth, Doc, look at these. Oh, Jesus, Jono, your eyes are popping out. That happened to the mice. Sorry? That happened to the mice.
But what
do you mean?
That's the option.
But
What do you mean that's the option?
So I love the fact that your choice is either be like a fat, happy man who has the odd sponge cake or a stick man with eyes on stalks. I mean, Steve's chosen that.
All right, calm down.
Oh,
I
sorry,
thought we were
mate.
slagging off Rick Waller and
Sorry,
fat
mate.
people.
Sorry,
Let's
mate.
have a go at the fat people before we start
sorry.
on me, Rick.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I
Yeah,
forgot.
I mean, it's like...
Yeah.
Because I got some issues, even body issues.
I know.
But Rick Waller's grotesque, you know.
Yeah, sorry
I'm
about
just
that.
a little bit weird. I mean, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, should we play a song? And
Well, I'm
sort
just a little bit offended.
All right, XFM 104.9, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington, not here. It's the best of. You've been voting in all week, sending your emails. So here's the clips that you wanted.
So let's take us back a few steps, Carl. What's the story?
Right, so I did some research. Right.
Let's just recap again. There was a guy you read about who had his head chopped off. He was guillotined.
Yeah.
He had said to the people around him,
Count
I am going
blinks.
to blink once I've had my head cut off to
So
show
the brain
that life,
can still...
or the brain
Yeah.
can continue to work after
Yeah.
death. Okay, so yeah, we queried that.
So you weren't having any of it?
Well, no, possibly for a few seconds till the oxygen stops being fed to the cells because the blood has drained away. But, you know, nothing spectacular. So
Right,
go on.
well, along the similar sort of lines, right? This is quite a few years ago. This fella sort of upset the royal family doing something, right?
Uh-huh.
So they said that this isn't
It
good.
wasn't Ben out under that Jubilee thing, was
I
it?
can't remember what it was, and they said, right,
That was terrible.
we're gonna cut your head off. You know,
Oh.
you gotta show people like you can't be doing what you've been doing.
What was this, the 1970s? What you say a couple of years ago? You mean maybe sort of...
Was it the olden days when the
Ages
phones
ago.
weren't very good?
Ages ago.
Yeah.
Ages ago, so.
So yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So
Very philosophical.
Yeah, imagine that when you was near
Cut your head off.
This
Yeah,
was
fair enough.
literally ages ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, go on.
Simon Sharma's History of Britain.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
and even before that, which is young
Yeah.
before, when it was all mental and different. Sorry, Carl, go on.
So he's having his head cut off, and he's resigned to it.
it's the day before. He's kind of got it into his head now that I'm not going to have my head much longer.
Sure.
So he said, let's make use of this.
Yeah.
He said, I wonder how long like the body can stay alive
Yeah.
without the head on it, right? So they were like, oh, I don't know. So
Who were?
so
The jailers?
whoever he was asking.
These jailers with one eye.
Yeah.
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 Get up.
So he said, look,
No, wait a minute, I've got an interesting scientific experiment, jailer. Well,
Yeah.
fair enough.
What is it?
So he said, what I want to do, right? He said, you know, surely it's my last right. You know, I'm gonna be dead tomorrow.
Sure.
So let's
He
do a
didn't draw
test.
it out this long, did he?
Yeah, he said, let's test this out. You know, he said, do us a favour. He said, you know, it's my last day. What I want you to do is you're going to cut my head off. Let's put a white line on the floor,
Right.
and see if, you know, because there's no point asking how far you can sort of walk without an head if there isn't a line, because you don't know what to count. Do you know what I mean? If he loses his head and he's running around all over the place, you can't really count
That's
that.
not impressive enough. Yeah.
So they said, let's make a white line.
Sure.
Yeah. Who said
And-
this? He did or they did?
I think they started to join in with them and saying, well, let's make this a... you know.
Sure. You guess it. Go on.
So,
They got Norris McWhirr, the Guinness people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so they said, let's get this white line.
Yeah.
And
Dedication's all he needs.
we'll do this. We'll do this tomorrow. He said, all right, then, I'll
Yeah.
see you in the morning.
Yeah.
So we go-
I'll see you in the morning. Night, night, sleep tight. Bye-bye.
I love the fact that God knows exactly what was said.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. He doesn't know the story
Yeah.
or what order it is in
Yeah.
or when
But
it
he
was.
knows exactly what
or
was
who
said.
said what, but he knows the interview. All right then, see you in the morning. Bye. Oh, kissy, kissy, kissy. Oh, I'm not like that. Oh, you joker.
Don't let the bed bugs bite.
Yeah. Anyway.
So he gets up.
Do you want to pay for tomorrow? No, I'm all right. Go on.
He gets up and they say, right, you know, today's the day and that. And he said, well, you know, I've got used to the idea. So here's a white line for you.
Used to the idea. Go on.
So they go, right, you ready then? And he said, I go on. And they cut his head off. And the body walked 32 steps without a head.
Wow.
32 steps.
Incredible.
And that's the lesson, really.
Did it get as far as it walked along the white line? Did it?
Yeah, it stayed along the white line, did 32 steps, and then started to stumble a bit, and it just fell over.
Yeah.
But, it was a test that your body can still keep alive for a little bit.
Yeah.
When you've lost your head.
Absolute twaddle. Absolute twaddle.
What do you reckon you can do then without an head? How many steps?
Nothing. There'd be muscular spasm, right?
Yeah. It would twitch a bit.
It would, yeah. You could not distinctly take 32 steps. The body could, well, don't.
Yeah.
Is the doctor still on the line?
Yeah.
The fella that bought 6 parrots.
Yeah.
And, you could have 32 steps.
Right, so
A
you don't
beheaded
believe
man
that?
doing a bit of line dancing.
Right, you don't believe that? There's something that you do believe that a cockroach can live a week without an head.
It can. Slightly different kettle of fish there.
Why?
Wow, insect to human is what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
that difference.
There's not that much difference in
Well, of course
some
there
insects.
is.
Do you know that a snake has a heart and lungs and kidneys and stuff?
Go on.
No, well, I'm just saying.
So
You're making it as if like they're a totally different
species. I am making that up. I mean, call me old-fashioned.
Do you know what you're talking about? I don't want you embarrassing yourself, Rick.
Yeah, I am suggesting they're totally different beings. Yeah, that is. Yeah. Now, Karl, the cockroach is a very different thing. The interesting there is that it lives without its head, because a lot of it's on. There's some of them are phototropic, chemotropic. Some of them just literally have irritation and muscle memory. I mean, they do have a central nervous system, but it's very different. So if you lose the head, it bypasses a lot of that anyway. All this is running around. The reason it dies is because it can't take on water. But it's very different to a man, right, having consciousness and then losing that. And the body's still going, no, I think I remember what I was going to do here.
Yeah, so
I'm going to carefully walk 32 steps along this white line. I'm basically just looking down going, oh, missed a bit. Yeah. Maybe the head was in the corner going, left, left. Oh, he's now.
Well, let's just put it out. I mean, if anyone listening has maybe had a relative beheaded, maybe in a horrendous car accident, where they got up, maybe they went for a walk, they had a little chat before they passed on.
Karl.
Get in touch.
Karl, you are my favourite being. You are my favourite species.
Now, you, Karl, may not be particularly different genetically from a cockroach. You are.
Why can cockroaches do that? Why whoever made them went?
Let's play a record.
Do you know what? When I told him this fact, I sent him little facts on text messages just to inflame his, interest. I just sent him a cockroach can live 9 days without its head. He texted back, "What's the point of that?"
Yeah.
What's the point of
They're
that?
not doing experiments. These cockroaches.
Is it boring last week to have?
And he went, and on top of all that, you're thirsty. So it's the worst week of your life, isn't it? That week without your head. XFM 104.9, I'm Ricky Gervais with me, Stephen Merchant. Hello. You're listening to the best of, basically, Karl Pilkington. Karl's all flustered because there isn't a record set up, but he's getting all tizzy. He's been more worried about his competitions and sorting out putting records on ready. What?
I'm after Steve's Song for a Lover.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why didn't you carry on with your educating Ricky section? I'll have a look on the
We'll
CD.
keep it going, Steve.
Yeah, you keep
go on. Go on then. Right. Okay. We've had a few emails. Anyone got it right, Karl? Anyone?
Educating Ricky. That's the final one. We've got to get that out of the way.
We've got to get rockbusters as well, though.
Do that at the end.
Go on then.
But we've only got 5 minutes left.
Come on, just do educating Ricky.
Right. God. The last one that we haven't done is he's a bit of a nuisance.
Go on then.
Again, not really that interesting.
Thanks.
No, again, I spoke to you in a week, and I had much better things. Like when I tell you about Brian Blessed climbing Everest, and for some reason it made him it played havoc with his belly, and he followed through, and he had to clean up.
Shut himself.
Yeah, using ice and snow.
Why are you telling me that Brian Blessed? In what way is telling me that Brian Blessed shit himself once in any way educational?
Because I was saying how he was climbing Everest, right?
Right.
I give it to him. He's an actor and that, but he gave that a go.
Yeah.
Right. He played.
What's the point of that? You'd say, wouldn't you?
You'd say, God, he's
so he's all right. Me doing a boxing match for no reason is rubbish, but him climbing Everest and shitting himself,
yeah, he did that.
Is commendable.
Right, and he's only going to go and do it again. He's going to climb it again.
Yeah, but he might not shit himself this time.
Yeah, what's the point in going? Nothing's changed up there.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
Once you've been.
Well, it has. They've probably cleared it out by now.
Right. But, it's slip on it.
I can't really
Go-
bother telling you this one because
Come on!
To be
Just
honest-
do it, or do it now!
Steve, how we doing?
Look, no, never mind that. Look, just tell me what that means. Oh, he's a nuisance. Oh, this is so annoying, Carl. I'm going to go mental.
Right,
Talk.
Right. Listen, I'm just putting
Right.
this in here, right? Right, nuisance is a bit of a nuisance.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Yeah.
the old fella who used to hang people.
1800s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He used to be able to tell somebody's weight just by looking at them. Right? That's a bit of a bonus fact.
We'll be the judge of that.
The thing that I wanted to tell you
Yeah.
is money for old rope. Do you know what I'm saying? I can't even be bothered.
Yes, you're going to tell me now. Come on, Carl. I mean it.
Basically, money for old rope
Yeah.
came from the right.
What was all that about? He can tell someone's weight. What was
The
that
bonus
for?
fact.
And blind blessed shitting himself. What are you? What? No, tell me that now. You nearly made me swear then. I'm getting really annoyed. I'm getting really annoyed now. Tell me this fact, Carl, or I'm going to go mental.
Come on, Carl. Time's running out.
Not that people years ago, when people used to be hung, right?
Right.
If you didn't like the person who's been hung, you'd go, God, I really don't like him. And so you never forget the
Because
time.
even if they're being hung, we take that as read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they never forget afterwards to get the hangman to get the rope and to cut it up into little pieces, and he'd sell them. He'd sell the little pieces of the rope to people. And
See,
they'd go,
Carl, that's the most interesting thing, if it's true, that you've come up with.
Right. Okay. And so so they sell the rope,
they sell the rope, and it's money for old rope.
money for old rope.
Meaning, like, God, it's easy to make money. All I have to do is cut it up and sell it.
Yeah.
I'm cynical.
I'm not so convinced
Listen,
now.
we're really tight. We haven't even got time for a last talk. We've got an ad break, and we've got to give out.
Okay, give the answers then. This is
Right.
ridiculous.
So,
Come
Steve,
on.
do you want to pick a winner?
I've got a winner when you give us the answers.
Okay, so the first clue was that army has got some well nice trenches.
Yeah,
That was DW,
who's that?
Dandy Warhols.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
All right.
That's good, yeah.
The second one, the top of them curtains are wrecked, all
Yeah.
the material is worn.
Yeah.
HV, that's Holly Valance.
Oh, he got a phone call for what was saying, I haven't heard it. And he was talking to her off air, and she went, what is it? Someone says, them curtains. She went, all right. He said, you know the thing around the top of the curtain is a palmet, not a valance. And he went, cut her off.
Yeah, but my auntie's always making balances on everything. I'll tell you about that next week. Right?
I'm looking forward to that.
Right.
Is this the one that farted for 5 minutes?
Yeah, the very same.
Yeah.
Right? So we'll talk about that. I was in Texas, I tripped up, I landed on my knees in a puddle, WH,
Yeah.
wet knee Houston. Right?
Wet knee Houston.
Yeah. So,
You're a maniac.
So, who's a winner?
We've got Pete, Catherine, and Laura in Newcastle upon Tyne. They're listening online, I assume, and they're
on
going to
Sky
get
Digital.
those great places. And remember, they got loads of stuff. They got the DVD here. They got Linda Green. They got Stone Roses. They got another compilation and Executive Decision.
What did you read about Brian Blessed? Is it actually true, or have you lied with
No,
someone else?
it was an interview with him in it.
And what did he
talking about-
say?
Oh,
Come
at the
on, what did he
time.
say?
He said I climbed Everest and I played of it with me belly. Let's talk about it next week. We've really run out now.
Oh, you're a fool.
104.9 XFM. You all right? This is Karl, producer of Ricky Gervais and Steve Merchant. They're not about today. Ricky's on holiday. Steve couldn't be bothered. So I'm left here with all the DATs. That's a digital audio tape of all the shows they've done since they've been here over the last, I don't know, year and a half or something. So we'll play you some of the best bits. All right, so here's the first bit.
I just wish we could maybe tape the bits we're not on air, just because that's when Karl comes into his own.
Yeah.
He just said to me, I don't know what I was doing, I was sort of like pottering around, dancing around, doing something annoying probably, and he just looked at me, I looked around, he was looking at me, and I looked back, and he went, have you ever used a Y-front properly?
Genius.
It's a great question, because the answer is definitely no.
Definitely no.
Does anyone use their Y-front properly? And by that, I mean, get your winky out of the little sort of slot provided, as opposed to like put it to one side or pull them down or whatever. Has anyone used a Y-front properly?
I don't think I've ever done it.
I don't think I've ever done it.
I've never seen anyone in a toilet doing it, Rick.
You should be looking.
I wish I hadn't said that.
I caught you. Really?
Yeah. That's actually how you prove people are gay.
Yeah.
You get them into this conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a trap.
Yeah, it's a trap.
It was the trap.
Yeah.
I
I'm
thought
not
that
gay,
was
by the
the,
way.
Yeah.
You didn't prove I was gay. I double bluffed you. Because I knew the old gay trick.
I thought it was the old Gaylord say no thing.
That is another method. Yeah,
That is
there's innumerable methods of doing it.
That's how Oscar Wilde was caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Well, the judge went to him. Did you see that film last night? Gaylord say no, and he went no, and they went take him away.
Yeah. Take him down to the cells.
Yeah, take him to Reading.
It is true.
That
is
well,
true. It originated in America.
yeah.
So many of these things do. It's
Yeah.
a brilliant point, Carl. I'd like to hear from anyone listening who's, and I mean, well, they'll just lie, wouldn't they? I suppose.
Yeah, I don't even use sort of flies.
No?
Usually, I sort of pull my wife on my sort of tracksuit. That's why I wear sort of like elasticated waistbands all the time.
Exactly.
Just sort
Speed.
of like. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get in there with the minimum of effort.
Yeah, we and out.
Sure.
Often I won't shake
No, well, no.
to my detriment because it often leaks out a little bit later, doesn't it?
Ever been out on a date with a girl where it's just trickled down your leg and you wish it hadn't, and you're thinking, what if she gets my trousers off later? She might smell it or see it.
What? What?
I don't know. I don't know what I said there.
Right.
Rick, I had for Christmas something which I think might excite you and interest you, because I know you're obsessed and interested by facts.
Yeah.
Don't fiddle with the microphone.
Well, I
everyone
was
can
just
hear
looking at what it was underneath it.
that. So this is a book, it's just facts and trivia. It's edited by Sir Isaac Asimov, who I think's dead. So I don't know when my parents bought this book. I assume it's sort of from a second-hand shop or something.
Right.
It's quite long, but I got it for Christmas. I keep meaning to bring it in, because there are... Generally, the facts are quite sensible in here. And I like to think if Isaac's been involved, they're probably substantiated. It's not like kind of just this nonsense on the web. I think that this is probably...
Or up in Greg's the Baker's that Carl
Exactly.
gets most of his facts from.
The ancient Egyptians trained baboons to wait on tables. Carl, fascinated.
Brilliant.
That's fantastic.
But what my point about that is, why did they stop?
Yeah.
It's a genius idea.
Was
Would you
there-
not want to go to a restaurant where they had baboons serving?
No, I'll tell you what
Depends on
happened.
few.
It might have been like the Planet of the Apes, and they sort of rebelled. One of them could talk. One of them could take his order. And one day went, do you want fries with that? And the bloke got really annoyed and said to answer him back. And then there was some sort of rebellion.
Right.
Yeah. The Planet of the Apes isn't true, is it?
It's
just
not.
a
No,
film.
it's not a documentary.
Right. Okay.
I wonder, because what I like the idea of having baboons is the fact that I reckon they're like, I have difficulty, and I'm sure you do, Carl, like working out that sort of 10%, on a bill.
Yeah.
I reckon baboons would find that particularly hard. I recken you could get away with under-tipping them all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Just not leaving enough in this leg in it. Exactly.
They go away and you go, sucker.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
I'd love to see
yeah.
some baboon restaurants. If there's
Yeah.
any restaurateurs out there, so
Could
Terence
I
Conrad or someone.
if you do go to a restaurant and you've been waiting on those, please don't order the banana daiquiri because it comes half-eaten. They can't help their little selves. They really can't. They're okay with, like, beef and steak and chips and all that. But there's a little bit. I go, do you want?
Can you imagine that? The baboons serving at waiting tables. It's genius. Just stop to think about that. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
It's absolutely dynamite.
yeah. That's a
See,
good
zoos
fact.
would be a lot more popular if there was like the canteen and you could go in
If
and
they
be
were
served.
serving tickets to two, yeah, one
Exactly.
child. Well, okay, go through there.
But I
Okay.
think they should do other things, like in the Flintstones, they used to mix cement in that bird's kind of beak.
Pelican. Yeah, yeah.
We should start doing that again. Because that also happened in ancient times.
Yeah, exactly.
According to the Flintstones.
Yeah, before they had proper cement mixers, that's what they did.
That was how they did it.
Definitely. Yeah.
Just animal facts. I remembered one in the week.
Go on.
There was. Do you know them two gay American men who have tigers?
Okay, the two gay ones.
Those
Yeah,
are
go
the
on.
Two possibly gay
Tigers.
guys.
Yeah, let's not worry about libel law anymore then. Or yeah,
If you
go on.
shave a tiger's head,
Whoa. Right, okay. You've got to treat that sentence with a lot more reverence than you did. Think what you're saying. If you shave a tiger's head...
not just its head, its whole body. If
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, yeah.
So I thought you were getting weird. Go on then. Yeah, if you shave a tiger, yeah, go on.
it's still stripy underneath. The
Yeah.
skin's.
Is it like rock?
It goes all,
Is it like all the way through?
Yeah,
Yeah,
It is.
that's amazing.
Where did you hear that one?
I remembered that. Like, I was
Was
watching.
that drunk just shouting it in the street?
I shaved a tiger and it's still stripy. Get out of here. Yeah. Well, you know a polar bear? Polar bear's skin is actually black and its fur is transparent, not white, and it gives the illusion. So it gets all the radiation possible from the sun, but it's still camouflaged.
I didn't understand that, Rick. Sorry, you lost me. If its skin's black,
A polar bear's skin is
and its
black.
fur is translucent,
And it's translucent.
so why is it white when we see
Well,
it?
it's just because the light hits it and...
The sun reflects off it?
Yeah, and it makes it look white, yeah. So if you look at each individual hair, it's actually translucent.
So at
each
night
hair.
it would be black?
Well, everything is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, not bright stuff, Rick. You've embarrassed yourself. Play a record.
XFM 104.9. Lovely, that one. Now, again, I broke the rules in the week. I met up with Karl. I had lunch with him. And we were chatting and having a cup of tea. And it got onto one of Karl's favourite programmes, was the Tales of the Unexpected.
Ah, of course.
And all I can think is that he's probably the only person in Britain where they were unexpected. I mean, to him, when that twist came in, he'd go, gee, I can't...
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Can't believe
So
it.
it was the tree that did it. I mean, he was probably the only... And we were telling all these stories of horror, and he liked horror stories. And I told him this story, and I don't know if this had come across the radio, but I told him this story. It was a short. It was a horror short.
This was a film you saw, was it?
Yeah, yeah. And what it was, it started off just there'd been a car crash. You see, it's a horrendous wreck, and you saw it from the point of view of the person in the car, and he was calling for his mate, and he was going, Dave. And he sort of looked over and saw a body without a head that had been thrown. He goes, oh no, Dave, Dave. And then into the field of view came Dave, his mate, and looked at him with a look of horror, and then it sort of went black, and you realised that he was just a head, and it had been his body.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And I said, then it came up at the end, at the executions in the French Revolution, people experience consciousness for, and he went, oh, no, he said, it wouldn't be for that long. And then he went, if it was a chicken, it would work. Imagine remaking that film, but it's two chickens in a horrendous car crash.
Their own fault for driving.
It would work. No, he wasn't having that.
Yeah.
No, it was too long. I think he said, how long was this film? Went, 5 minutes. He went, no. It would work if it was a chicken.
I like the way that Carly was something like, when you relate an incident like that, he's appalled and offended and annoyed by the people that made it, even though he's never seen it.
Oh, he's annoyed, yeah.
Do you have a favourite Tales of the Unexpected, one that you remember particularly that shook you up?
Yeah, we were talking about the one on where there's some woman in prison. Have you seen that one?
No, I can't remember them all.
Right. This woman's in prison.
Yeah.
And she gets a bit friendly with the guy who takes the dead bodies out.
Right.
And he said, I can get you out of here. He said, what you've got to do, right? You've got to, I don't know, at midnight...
When you hear the bell toll, that means there's been a dead body,
yeah, there's been a dead body. So what you've got to do is go into, like, the place where all the dead bodies are, get in the first coffin on the right, and then I'll come along and carry you out, and you can run away and escape, right? So she goes, yeah, all right then. So she hears the bell go.
I'll bury you, right? And then I'll come back later and dig you up.
Right.
Yeah, but
that's the point.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. Trust me, Karl, it
All right,
really
then,
matters.
okay.
Listen, I don't know if I'm going to ruin this for people at home.
Yeah.
Can I just skip to the end? I would imagine that she gets buried and he doesn't come back, and she has to get buried alive.
Better than that. So she gets in the coffin, and she's lying there for ages.
She's
and
buried.
She can feel a bit of movement going on, so she's obviously, being carried somewhere, so she's thinking, this is it, I'm getting out. And she's lying there for ages and thinking, why isn't someone coming and lifting the lid off this? Do you know what I mean? Letting me get out. So she's really bored. She gets a lighter out, right? Lights it to have a look at who she's lying on. It's only the fella who said he'd help escape.
Oh.
How bad is that?
That is... How bad is that?
So it is quite important that she's buried alive then, isn't it? In retrospect, you realise that the jeopardy is that she's buried alive and can't get out.
Yeah.
It makes it so much worse, doesn't it, than just like lying in the morgue and going, actually, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
This isn't going to work.
Look at Carl's face. Having told that, he's so pleased. His face is lit up. He's beaming like a child.
Have you seen any?
Is that your favourite horror thing ever?
What was that one you told me about with the porn? That was a good one.
Oh, this was fantastic, right? Right. There was this...
Sorry, can I just check now? We're just remembering classic episodes of the Tales of the Unexpected now,
this is important. Well, I saw one, right? I saw one on Tales of the Unexpected, right? And it was these two gents. What they used to do, they look down the obituaries and they'd blackmail the wife or the son of a dead eminent person, like might be a priest or a doctor, and they'd go and they'd say he bought some erotic stuff from us before he died, and he owes 100 guineas and all this sort of stuff, and they'd pay up because it'd be so embarrassing. They just didn't want them, so they'd just pay him, right? And this one bloke said, who are these people? I'll meet with them. And he goes round there, and he goes round, and they go, your father, he goes, my father could not have bought any erotic material from you. They did it, he goes, he couldn't have, he's blind. Right, and that was the twist. And Karl went, so it was magazines, not videos then.
Yeah. Now think about it, Steve. Is that so stupid?
Well, presumably it was set in olden times because people, professional pornographers don't tend to call it, you know, erotic material.
Yeah.
They tend to call it, you know, juicy jugs or whatever. But more than that, I don't understand how a video is going to be any use to a blind person either. I know that you can hear the sound, Karl. Look at him nodding like he's caught me out.
Yeah, what sound will you hear? Your meter needs looking at? Yes. Cut. What's then? What's that? Then it's just noises, isn't
Occasional
it?
groans.
Yeah.
Right.
You could listen through the wall at your neighbours.
He does.
I mean, that's why I save a lot of money. But I thought you were going to point out, Karl, that they could have had a Braille porno. Now, have you thought of that?
Look, feel the lumps on that.
Exactly. Think about it, Karl.
Think about it.
You're excited now.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend's away, Karl.
Yeah, the cheese grate has only entered the cupboard.
No, she's a good-looking lady.
Yeah.
104.9 XFM, hello. I'm Karl. Ricky Gervais and Steve aren't here. So we're playing through some of the best bits. I say the best bits. It's the bits that came across first. I mean, I'm not wasting my time. I'm a busy man, you know what I mean? So, here's another bit.
What do you make of the first genetically modified baby?
Oh.
Are you worried about this?
Do you know what did they do? What?
Let me see what it says here.
Well, isn't it just choosing the, you know, eye colour?
Well, this is the concern, isn't it? That in the future you'll be able to decide whether it's a boy or a girl, how intelligent it is, what it looks like, is it handsome, is it ugly? Obviously, no one will choose an ugly baby, and so on and so on and so on. And so it means that, you know, where will it lead? Where will it end, Karl? Are you concerned?
I've thought about this a lot.
What will us three look like in the future? If they're being, you know, genetically modified beautiful people, what will we be like? How will we be considered in society?
True, yeah. But we've talked about this before, haven't we? About the cloning thing.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think it matters, because at the end of the day, right, you might look like some other kid, but it's the way you're brought up that will change your features and the way you are, you know, your personality.
If you lie, you get a long nose, don't you?
Well, no, but listen, right, because I remember when we, you know, I was growing up on this estate.
This is going to be good. Go on.
No, it's not. It's just an example of how this doesn't work.
Go on.
So we don't need to worry, sort of thing.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm growing up on this estate, and there was this woman about 4 houses down, right? It's a bit rough. All right.
Didn't fancy her.
Oh God, no. Right, but she had a baby.
Well, tell me about her first. I'm interested in this woman. What was she?
It was a very.
Was it like a man in a dress?
I mean, I didn't grow up in a posh house or anything. And I'm not saying that if you live in a bit of a rough house, you're a bad person.
What does she look like?
But anyone can
tattoos,
clean up.
Look like Tony Green with a fag on.
They didn't clean up much, right?
Oh.
Which, even if you've not got a lot of money, you can still try and make a place look nice.
Yeah.
Right. But she didn't, and a kid used to take a horse into the house.
Sorry. Whoa, Neddy. What do you mean a kid used to take a horse into the house? Where did he get a horse?
Must have nicked it from somewhere. Must have done.
So you seen a horse in it? No.
What, is that from outside the saloon round the corner?
Yeah, was it just tied up with a bit of leather?
Right.
Oh, that's great. Did Big Jake come looking for it?
I'd been out.
Oh. Right, so let me get this. This was before the lynching stopped or after?
Where did he get a horse from? What do you mean he must have nicked it? His mum said, where'd you get that from? I bought it. All right, then. But keep it out of the kitchen.
I don't want you going Catlin rustling.
Where did he get a horse from, Karl? And how long did he have it for? Was he leading it or riding it? Mum, open the door, I can't stop!
I can't stop it. Open the patio door as well.
Looks like we got us a runaway. What do you mean?
I don't know, but the thing is they couldn't afford to buy one because they're not cheap. So I'm just guessing. Maybe that's wrong of me. But I think...
He had a horse?
Yeah, right. So
That's why the family didn't have any money. They'd spend it on the horse.
No, I don't think, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they would have bought it. So anyway...
Yeah, it's wise to whisper, Carl, in case they're listening.
Yeah, and
They could be in the room next door.
It's not buying it, it's keeping it as well.
So I was like in the car with my dad coming into the avenue, and you used to have to drive down it to turn round and, and you know, sort of go back to our house.
You had the traditional method of transport. Yeah.
And the horse was in the lounge.
Reading a paper.
Just like walking around.
Oh God! What?
And when I was doing, I tried to earn myself some money once by flogging little flowers in plastic cups.
What? This is genius. It just keeps coming. What do you mean you're trying to flog little flowers? What do you mean?
Wait. Let's play a record. Let's play a record and come back to this.
Wait a
Because the
minute,
story's going to just unravel and unravel. It's going to go for hours. Let's play a track,
deeper
Carl.
and deeper. It's
Yeah,
like
come
an
on, Carl.
onion, isn't it?
We've created a whole world here where there's a man living with a horse.
Just walking around the lounge.
I mean, I come from the West Country. I've never heard anything like that.
I just think of a big sort of like orange carpet and a rediffusion telly and this horse going, I'm fed up in here.
Exactly.
This is really...
I am not taking the rubbish out again.
Yeah.
Right, play a record. Let's have Velvet Underground. We've got that lined up.
Oh,
yeah, the
God.
classic from the first album, I'm Waiting for the Man. Let's come back to the horse in a second.
Little flowers in pots. What do you mean?
From that classic first album, Velvet Underground and Nico, which apparently peaked at a disappointing 171 in the US charts.
Think of that.
And that's obviously Lou Reed, the Velvet Underground, and Waiting for the Man.
Yeah, great track. So we were talking, we were doing White Van Man, and we got onto
genetically modified babies, but
and
somehow
then Carl started telling a story about someone with a horse, and then he got onto he was trying to make money selling flowers. Just do the flowers briefly.
Well, hang on, I just want to recap slightly. So there was a family, and who had the horse in the family?
It was...
Because you lived on an estate in Manchester.
So the mother was a right pig, apparently.
Well,
I don't know if that's
you
relevant.
don't need to go that far.
But
what I'm trying to do is like make a picture for you so you understand.
What
a
did she look
picture
like?
it
Who
is.
did she look like?
Bit of a, and no disrespect to her, bit like Pauline Quirk.
Quirky, yeah.
Right?
Okay, I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. I knew it was going to be Pauline. Did she have any tats? Did she have any tattoos?
I've never got that close to her.
Okay, all right.
So who had the horse? Was this her son or her husband?
No, her daughter.
Her daughter had stolen a horse.
Yeah, from I don't know where. There was I think it was some stables down the road or something.
And they kept the horse in the house with them.
They kept it in the house.
Did they
didn't
get
have
caught?
it for long.
No.
So, and you said you were in the house one day and you saw the horse in
No,
there.
what happened was I was, they did this thing at school about raising money for charity, right? For some local charity. And they said you can do anything to raise money. And they came out with all these ideas and I thought, that's good.
What was the charity?
But I don't know, I thought, forget the charity.
Yeah, that's
I'm
just a good
charity
money-making idea.
So,
you're a charity.
So, so I asked my mum for some, because she used to have a lot of flowers around the house.
Sure.
I said, can I just take some snippings off them? And I'll go and buy some plastic cups. And got some soil out of the garden, planted the bits of plants in them.
Yeah.
Got a tray.
Yeah.
Had about 25 plants on it, selling them for 25 pence each.
Excellent. Did you sell any?
Yeah, so loads.
Did you just cut? You didn't just cut them and stick them in the soil.
Yeah, they wouldn't have survived. But I think people sort of thought, well, good on him for trying. But anyway, so I went round to theirs because I thought their house could do with a bit of colour and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a bit rough. So as I went,
The horse went, thank God for that breakfast. They've been feeding me kitty cat.
So I got up to the door and they opened the door and it was one of them houses where no carpet.
Yeah, a horse in the living room.
You know.
We've all been there.
And the horse was walking around the living room.
Oh.
I looked quite happy and everything because I always say that about animals.
Black Beauty
right?
was on. Yeah.
Well, think about it, right? If you were a horse, where would you rather be? In a little wooden hut with a load of hay, or in like a house with a
central heating,
3-piece suite, and a telly and that?
Telly and that.
Because, no, but I was saying this the other day.
And an Atari,
right? I was walking through London.
Commodore 64, rubbish.
Exactly.
Walking through London with Suzanne, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like homeless people always have dogs. And she said, "Oh, I hope she looks after it." I said, that dog is happier than most dogs,
right?
Because people always walk past and give it a pat on the head.
Yeah.
It's with its owner all the time.
Yeah.
It's out in the open. It's not locked up in a house.
Yeah.
It doesn't
You know what I
eat,
mean?
but other than that,
no, it does eat though. They're always all right. So that's what I was saying. I think this horse was doing all right for itself. Do you know what I mean?
Well, not many horses have got their own house.
Exactly.
For a start, yeah.
But anyway, that's what
by
we
the
were talking
by.
about. Yeah. So anyway, this family. It was a bit. What we were talking about. It was about cloning.
Genetically modified kids and all that stuff. Yeah.
Right now, what I'm saying is, you could say, right, Steve, you could have a baby, right, and Ricky could see it and say, God, I want one that looks like that.
Yeah.
Right.
It could happen, Rick.
So
Come on, work with him.
So you take it to the doctors, and I don't know what they do. They inject it with something or whatever.
Yep, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
And get a little baby, and there it is. It looks the same. Now the thing is, you separate. You both go off and do your own things.
Yep.
Right. Now, you look at Stephen. You look after your baby.
Yeah.
You treat it well. You give it good food and
I'm
that,
a good dad.
all the vitamins and stuff.
Yeah.
Ricky just gives it cheese. Right. So then it changes its looks. It goes a bit fat. You know, it gets tired easily and that sort of thing. Now, when this family,
Why am I just feeding a baby cheese?
right? This family who had a horse in their house.
Yeah.
They had a little baby, and my mum went round and said, "You're not going to believe this, but it's a beautiful looking baby, right?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, you know." And the weird thing is, it was a good looking kid, but as time went on, they didn't really look after it. And I'm not saying like abusing it, but it used to run around. It used to play out till like 10 at night.
Yeah.
It used to chase cars.
Right.
It was a bit.
Did it have hooves?
No. Chase cars.
Right.
What sort of kid chases cars? Oh God!
No.
Was it called Rover? Did it catch sticks?
It's Liam, it was called, right?
Right.
Now, the weird thing is, it was a good-looking kid, but as time went on, and all that, like, not eating properly, and its hair was all patchy.
It's not Liam Gallagher, is it?
And chasing cars and that, and it became an ugly kid.
It's definitely Liam Gallagher.
And that's what I'm saying, right? You can clone all you like, but at the end of the day, it's how you're brought up.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Whoa.
Life.
Wow.
That was a hell of a point.
Oh God.
But am I right?
Oh, you're always right, Carl.
All right. This is Karl, the producer of Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant on XFM 104.9. We're playing out some of the best bits. Hope you're enjoying it. Here's another one.
And now it's Karl's bit. It's the re-education of Karl. He's like Liza Doolittle. And now he's coming to, or Lawnmower Man, if you've seen that film. More like Lawnmower Man, if you've seen the film. You'll know what I mean. And his homework was to just study quotes, really, on happiness and stuff and general well-being. He's not a big happiness quote fan, are you, Karl?
Not really.
So what have you done? You've come up with something, haven't you?
Right, yeah, I told you, right? Because a lot of these are just things you say every day. They're nothing special. So what I'm doing...
Well, you say them every day.
Well, the sort of things you come out with and you don't even think about it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're on the TV all the time. People on the radio are saying these sort of little quotes.
Sure.
And what I've done is, remember that programme on Channel 4, Faking It?
Yeah.
Where they got some, like, posh kid to be on a door and all that. What I've done, I've...
Imagine if that was the pitch for the show. Dear Channel 4, just going to get a posh kid on a door or something?
Yeah,
Yours
come
sincerely,
in,
Karl.
come in. Yeah.
TV producer.
Yeah, go on.
So, what I've done, this little book of quotes, happiness quotes, I've picked two that are real,
Okay.
and I've made one up, right?
And we've got a guess.
And you've got to guess which
Okay,
one
then,
it is.
go on
Well, I'll tell you what, Rick, why don't we, when we've heard them, we won't confer.
No.
You'll write down yours,
Yeah.
A, B or C, and I'll
Yeah.
write down mine and we'll
Sure.
see how it
Okay,
works.
Carl, off you go.
Right, and just because I'm looking at this book, it doesn't mean I'm actually reading.
No, I know,
Don't
no,
worry,
I know.
we're clever.
No,
you're
we know,
wily
we know,
old
we
man.
can't see,
Is that like
yeah.
call my bluff?
Yeah, go on
Okay.
then.
Nothing is worth more than this day.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah?
All right.
yeah.
The way I see it,
Oh God, my head's gonna burst.
now hang on.
My head's gonna burst.
No,
Hang
no,
on.
this might not be Karl's.
It might not be.
How do you know I haven't tweaked them a little bit?
Yeah, good
Okay,
point.
fair
Good
enough.
point. No, good point.
The way I see it, if you want the rainbow, you got to put up with the rain.
Yeah, okay.
All right?
All right, yeah.
Okay, hang on. It's not here.
Come on.
Cat food,
Cat food, go on.
it stinks a bit. But if you don't put up with the smell, the little kitten will die.
Steve, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Imagine this in faking it. Imagine their faces when he says that, and they're going, "Oh my God." Oh. Carl, play a song, mate.
We'll have to confer on this one.
Go on in.
Right. First one. Nothing is worth more than this day.
Excellent. Next one.
What does that mean?
Well, cherish
cherish now, cherish your time.
Okay.
Because you can't get it back, and you know
that's the way I saw it.
Carpe diem, whatever it is, seize the day and all that.
Okay. If you want the rainbow, you've got to put up with the rain.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, rough with the smooth. You know, it's not all plain sailing, but you know, rainbow's beautiful, but it comes because of the rain, which you might not like. So make the most of everything, and good.
Cat food doesn't smell good, but if you don't put up with it, then the little kitten will die.
Right, now, Carl, that is a good effort. Now, that one's yours. I mean, obviously, right? Right, no, but it's a good effort, right?
I mean, it slipped seamlessly into the others.
Yeah.
Don't think it didn't.
No, but it's good. I mean, we knew it was that one. But what I will say is, it's good, but what you don't know, maybe subconsciously, is, I mean, it's very similar to the putting up with the rain and the rainbow. But that's good.
Why do you think that?
Well...
What does mine mean?
Well, even though it smells bad, it's good for something.
Right, so I didn't look at it like that.
What did you look at?
I kind of thought...
Was yours more specifically about cat food, generally? Because, you know, normally it's an analogy.
Yeah, or a metaphor for something, you know, much bigger.
Well, no, the way I
mean, Dolly Parton, who I think did the rainbow rain thing, she wasn't specifically concerned about weather conditions.
No.
It was a sort of general idea.
It was all about life.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've done.
Go on.
I've used an everyday thing.
Yeah.
And put it with today's problems, right?
Go on.
So, like, my girlfriend, she might like to go shopping for clothes. I hate it.
Right.
But because I love her, I put up with it.
Ah, that's nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, you love that little kitten. You can't stand the smell of the stuff you got to feed it. But because you love it, you go, well, you know, I'll put up with this just for a few minutes, and then I can, like, squeeze its head later and give it a little...
Sorry!
Squeeze its little head.
No,
yeah, well, that's just the thing that I do with cats.
Put it in a bag and drown it in a lake.
I can feed it and then I can throw it against the wall.
So you didn't see it like that, did you?
No, that's very good. So it's about love, is it? It's about putting up with the bad things for something you love.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
But Carl, you seem now to be convinced and rather smug that you've tricked us and that you've fooled us and that we didn't understand it. Well, I say that's your fault, not ours.
No, it's not, though. I mean, look, that man in Forrest Gump, he was a bit of a nutter. And he came up with the life as a box of chocolates thing.
Yeah.
Now, if that was in this book, you say, oh, yeah, brilliant, you know, good bit of work. But if he was sat here doing the show with you, you'd be taking the mickey out of him.
Sometimes I feel he is.
No, but, Carl, I could, in fact, if people are out there, we're too lazy, could you write down everything Carl's ever said? Because I think we could publish that.
Yeah.
He said one today. He saw my salamander. It's not a euphemism. He saw my salamander, and it's just sitting there in the tank.
Your exotic pet.
Yeah, and he's worried about there not being a lid on. And he said, I went, what are we worried about? He said, wow. He said it sits there for 24 hours a day, obviously planning to get out.
Well, it's got nothing else on its mind, and it's the daft thing is, he has actually got the lid ripped up a little bit. And it'll be looking up there, and it's going to get out.
But what's the worst that could happen?
What's it thinking? What do you think it's thinking, this salamander?
It's got its eye on the DVD player. I can have eaten me down the market.
Class.
Rock the Casbah. I love the fact you had at least 3 minutes to get that right.
I know.
Prepare and get that right.
I know, but my mouth was full of Maryland cookies. Yeah. You know, last week, this would blow your mind. He came in, do you know what he'd bought? For himself, about 10 penguins. Who buys penguins still?
I know. Or wagon wheels.
Oh, I've never liked wagon wheels.
You've not been a fan?
No, but I'm sorry about that. It's The Clash and Rock the Casbah. Talking about records, have I told you that time my brother-in-law, he was moving out of his place, and I think moving in with my sister, and I was about, like, I don't know, 13, and so he was about, 30, and I moved in, and he brought round all his records when he was storage to leave them at our house. Right, and he had all these old sort of records, 50s and 60s records, no, I was right, and they put them upstairs, and I was looking through them, and it's just all like Elvis stuff and Beatles stuff, and there was a mate of mine who loved Elvis, okay, and he had loads of chemicals, he had loads of chemicals, and I was into chemistry, and he said, let's swap me some chemicals for them, so I sort of nicked about 5 Elvis singles, and I got all these chemicals, and then the guilt just hit me. I just thought, well, he's going to notice that. And one night, I just came downstairs and I confessed to my mum. And she went, all right, well, I won't tell him, but you've got to be good. and it's sort of like I was just really, really good for a year. And then I remember when I was about 18, my brother was talking about it, and he said, "Did you ever play those records I left for you?"
Brilliant.
He told my mum, he said, "These are for Ricky." She just didn't tell me.
She was sharp, wasn't she?
She used opportunism there.
Oh, that's genius.
And that was it. That's why I was good.
But you've never stolen anything since, have you?
No, I don't.
Except that spate of shoplifting after that to teach your mum a lesson.
yeah. Well, I went round and arson. No, I did. I just couldn't believe it. It was terrible.
trip.
I remember. I think all kids go through a phase of shoplifting.
Well,
and when I was going through it, I used to just little things, just like magic markers and magazines, Mars bars, that sort of thing.
yeah.
And one day, right, that my mate Anthony, his mum called up my mum and said, I've got to meet up with you. I've got to have a word with you. And she said, "What about?" She said, "I don't want to talk about it over the phone." So she goes, "Oh right, well, yeah, come round tonight then." So anyway, my mum sees me. She don't want to be in an awkward position and like be a bit embarrassed and what have you. So she sees me and she goes, "Right, Anthony's mum's coming round. What have you been doing?"
Yeah.
So I go, "Oh God," I said, "I've been nicking stuff." So she goes, "Like what?" So not big stuff. I've had a few calculators and Mars bars and stuff.
How many? I'll just work it out. Hold on. Works out at 7.2 per day.
So
How many calculators do you need?
So anyway, so it was when that phase.
You failed maths, didn't you?
Everyone wanted a calculator. It was like a trendy thing, wasn't it?
Right. Oh yeah.
In Manchester a couple of years ago, yeah.
So anyway, so I told her all this and I confessed to like
Computers will make it there one day.
confessed to
There's magic in the back of battery. Go on.
confessed to nicking all this stuff. She comes round. She only wanted to borrow some money.
Brilliant.
She said, "Oh, I don't like asking. I was a bit embarrassed to ask you over the phone, but can I borrow 20 quid?"
Oh, that's fantastic.
And there's me.
That's great.
And it's similar sort of thing to yours.
And did you?
And he went, "Hold on, Mum, let's just work out the interest on that. A bank at 10%. She'll owe you £4.40. Oh,
so your mum was a loan shark.
yeah.
And did she mention?
She
that
went,
you'd been nicking stuff with that other? Because what I'm saying is, presumably you got your mate in trouble.
No.
Right, you didn't.
That's great.
Anyway, should we have some more music? 'Cause,
Yeah,
we've
go
been
on.
waiting for hours.
What are you going to play, Carl?
We've got the Cooper Temple Clause.
Oh,
lined up.
brilliant. Cooper Temple Clause. Who needs enemies? Good question, lads. Nobody. 6FM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais.
Oh, they should print a little book of those. They're great. Oh, how you can relate any song or artist to anything else.
Easy.
Joyful.
Easy. Well, yeah, so me and Karl went out for a beer, and it was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, enjoy
We
myself.
started
Yeah,
off,
it's good.
and you met my mate Robin, didn't you?
Yeah.
And some of the stories. Do you want to tell Steve some things about Robin that you
Robin,
learned?
do you know him well?
Yes.
Well, do you know about his worm problem as a kid?
Go on.
Right. He what I can remember is he had worms as a kid. Not sure how you get him. He never answered me. He was getting a bit touchy about it. 'Cause
Right.
this is like the second time I met him. And I think he was a bit annoyed that Ricky told me about his problem.
What
Yes.
now? Now, straight away, you not being there, instinctively, what do you think went on with this story about worms?
My suspicion is rather like when you told a group of people that Robin had once suckled milk from a cow's udder.
Yeah.
He told me
Yeah. Did he mention that as well?
that.
Yeah. My suspicion is that, like the cow story, the worm story is not true.
But
And
why
Robin-
why would he get so sort of uppity about it?
Well,
Because it's not true.
imagine if that wasn't the first time he'd done it. Imagine if he did that every single time he was with somebody for the first time and Robin was just met them. He will tell that story to anyone.
But they do say there's no smoke without fire.
Oh, Robin! I also told him that the way Robin cured these worms was because the doctor told his mother, right, to hold a piece of ham or cheese near Robin's anus so the worms would come out for the food, and he believed it.
I'll tell you why, though.
I said to Robin used to sit on spam to try and get the worms out, and he believed it.
But Steve, right, do you remember that story about 3 or 4 years ago where there was some bloke in the army? He went away to somewhere, Vietnam or whatever. He was messing about in the woods.
Surviving the woods.
Shouldn't he have been fighting?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Right, and he walked through some lake, and I think he'd cut his toe or something on something, and some worm of some sort crawled in the gash Yeah. And it was in his body, and the doctor said, we've got to get this out of your body. So what they did was, they said, right, the thinnest part or something of your body that things can crawl through is on the top of your head. So they wrapped
Where the skull is.
So they wrapped some bacon.
No, they didn't.
They did. Because that's that
right.
thing. Everyone...
So it's gone in via the toe. So what we do is, I'll tell you what, that worm's probably heading straight for the head. We'll put a bit of bacon on it. The thinnest part of the body is the skull. Of course it's not the thinnest part of the body. It's where your brain case is, isn't it? It's the skull.
There was a reason for it, and it was like they stuck some bacon on his head. And
As ever, the vital piece of information, i.e. the reason, Karl seems to have forgotten.
Because the worm was in his body, and they said everyone likes to smell of bacon.
Including worms.
Even a Vietnamese lake worm. They love
bacon.
Remember last week when I said about the little fella with the bone with no brain, and you were proved wrong?
No.
Please.
No. We were saying it wasn't a little fella. We were saying it was a stillborn child. It wasn't a little fella.
You're changing it now. You weren't having any of it last week.
Right, hang on a minute. I'm getting confused. There was a Vietnamese snake that went inside of a soldier.
A little, like, maggot or some sort that you have to get out of your body because it causes problems.
Yes, and so in order to get it out of the body, they strapped bacon to his head.
Yeah.
That is great. This doctor.
And did that work?
I think so. They had a picture of him smiling.
Oh, God, what, the worm or the bloke?
The bloke.
Oh, dear.
Honestly, I hope someone knows the story.
Right.
It was about 3 years ago, I reckon.
Okay.
And, yeah, it did work.
GI bacon.
So this is why
the worm burrowed out of his head to get the bacon?
Get to the bacon.
Right. That's great.
So this is why when Robin was telling his story, I was a little bit disappointed if it wasn't true.
Right.
Because in a way...
You know Robin's never been to Vietnam.
No, but what do you really think that Robin... Well, as Robin said at the time, Karl, why would I sit on ham, then tell Ricky Gervais? It's a very good point.
Because if he was a kid, you do daft things like that as a kid.
Right.
He is telling Ricky Gervais, though.
Yeah. And then, bless him.
Okay.
And then anyway, Robin left, and I tried to chase him, but he got away. And he knows that and then we had a few pints, and then Karl embarked on some of the greatest stories ever told. Can you tell the story about your dad?
Let me run it. I haven't spoke to him all week, so let me run it by him.
Okay, play record.
Because
what we got?
We've got one of Steve's.
Yeah, well, bizarrely enough, this comes from the Teachers 2 soundtrack, the soundtrack to the current TV series. There's a slight whiff of nepotism in the air.
Yeah.
Rick, would you like to explain why?
Well, that's why you're doing it. My girlfriend worked on it, but
yeah.
You were going to play this anyway, weren't you?
Well, I was actually. Bizarrely enough, I was going to play some I Am Clute, and this is from, as I say, the Teachers soundtrack. This is called To You. It's a good track. That's I Am Clute, and a track called To You from the Teachers soundtrack. That's also got, I noticed, the Electric Soft Parade, the Hives, Star Sailor, Feeder. Turin Breaks, Mercury Rev on there. It's a good little collection.
Lovely. Karl has just had confirmation. He's looking smug because someone phoned up and went, it is true. It's a Laogai chi worm and you wrap bacon around your head. That's all the bloke knew as well.
Yeah.
And his name was Gary.
Yeah.
So I'm not having it.
No.
And he said, see, that's why the Robin thing isn't so weird. He said, but when you said he tried it with cheese, he said I was having none of it. He's got standing strokes. Hard to explain. Like Karl, really?
Yes, yes.
So, Karl, concentrate.
Yeah, go on.
So, we'll leave the worm with the bacon wrapped round the head, shall we?
Well, if you're ever caught in the jungle...
Yeah, always carry some...
Bit of Danish.
Good advice.
Lovely. So, would you like to start on your... to Steve, because I've heard all these.
Well, we won't do them all.
Well, we'll start off with the Mr. Freeze. Tell Steve the story of Mr. Freeze. This is the first time he nearly died.
This is the most serious of the lot, really. So, what it was, do you know, like, I don't know if your mum and dad did the same thing, but, like, they do the weekly shopping on like, a Friday.
Yeah.
So when you got to Thursday, there wouldn't be much stuff left in the cupboard. It'd just be like, you know, your Jacob's crackers and stuff like that. So when they'd been to the supermarket and they came back, I was like, you know... What's that saying? Like a pig in... You know, I loved it. It was like loads of food coming in, loads of biscuits.
What is that saying?
He nearly said pig in shit.
Right.
Is that the saying?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, all this food comes in.
Thank God he didn't.
Otherwise, he'd have been in trouble.
That's true enough.
Because he's culpable for our actions because
Exactly.
he's the producer. So technically, that twat's in charge. Go on.
Right, so anyway, so there's loads of food, and I'm like, oh yeah, look at this, and chocolate biscuits, and, you know, penguins and stuff.
Bacon.
And bacon.
Just in case, you never know.
So anyway, my mum and dad's putting the food away. Me and our kid are like, he's already grabbed something, gone back upstairs.
It's like feral children. it's like a quest for fire. And then they run upstairs. What did he do? Sit under the bed, gnawing at some sort of pig's trotter.
So I saw. Do you remember Mr. Freeze Pops?
I do, yeah. So what, they're kind of like popsicles, icicles.
Yeah, but really long, like a foot long, right?
Yeah.
So I thought I'll have one of them. So I grabbed it.
Went for the nutritious stuff first.
Absolutely.
And like my mum and dad are putting the stuff away and what have you. And I rip it open and knock it back, right? Straight away, just right back like
Swallow
that.
it
Right
straight away,
down
yeah.
But it went down the wrong way, right? So I was
down
like,
your shirt?
So I was like, oh God, I can't breathe. And my mum and dad didn't even know what I'd ate. Do you know what I mean? I ate it so quick.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of tapping my mum on the back, going, and she's going, oh God, you know, he's choking again, because I was always choking. If it was one thing, I don't know if I've got like a small throat, but I mean, even Ricky knows I can't drink that much, can I?
Yeah.
Do you know,
or eat pebbles.
I'm not a quick drinker. I'd always, I think I'm scared of like swallowing stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like bottle tops and mint imperials and stuff. I was always choking on stuff. So anyway, she's going, oh God, what's he picked up on it now?
Drop it. And
So-
she hit his nose with a stick.
So I was going, oh, I'm choking. At this point, my dad had like, I think he'd put his share away, you know, his food away, and he'd gone.
His share. I love it.
Yeah.
He'd gone to watch like Winner Takes All or whatever in a lounge, and I was in the kitchen, and I was starting to like I didn't care anymore. Do you know what I mean? I just got to that point where I wasn't struggling anymore.
You just thought, I'm done
I just
for.
was like falling to the ground. And my mum's going, you know, get in here, I think it's serious. And my dad comes in and sort of starts shouting at me, saying that's what you get for being greedy. He didn't even know what I'd eaten.
Well, it was the moment to teach you a lesson, certainly.
So he's there like that, and my mum's going, oh, look at him. And my lips were going purple, and my eyes were rolling into the back of my head.
You look like Marilyn Manson.
And so anyway, she grabbed me from behind and did that fireman thing.
The Heimlich manoeuvre.
Yeah. And, you know, winded me. And it came up, and I was all right.
What, the whole
like,
popsicle came flying back out?
you see, that's what I don't understand. Because there was nothing there.
No, just a little bit. No, it swells up, doesn't it? Because it irritated it. So it went down your sort of like your epiglottis. It went down the wrong way, like it went into your air canal instead of your throat, and it sort of spasms, and that's the fear. You just got to calm it down and relax.
So in time, I would have been all right.
Yeah,
anyway.
you don't.
Well, no,
yeah.
you might have.
So that's so that's
hang on.
one.
So, but
No. But the weird thing is, like for like 3 days after that, I felt like a sort of special person. I went to school.
I'm saying nothing.
I did full days.
a special needs person.
Yeah.
I went to school the next 3 days after that. I didn't like wag it or anything. I did full days.
I love that. 3 days, turn over a leaf.
Yeah, exactly.
did-
After 3 days, you thought, screw it.
Yeah,
Well,
did a quick history exam. Right, next
That was
one.
weird.
That's popsicle. That's popsicle hell, we'll call that. Right, next one.
Which one's the next one?
Oh, what about your paper round?
Right, the paper round one. Paper round, I'd still say it's the best job I've ever had.
And he means it.
No, I really enjoyed it. It's like, you know, you don't have to work with anyone else, right? So you make your own rules.
Just think of that.
You know, you sort of
You're
around.
spreading information
Well, yeah,
to people.
yeah,
Vital information.
giving a service,
Yeah.
and no one else is around. You know, you can just do what you want and think about stuff whilst you're cycling around on your bike. It's really good.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Imagine the stuff he's thinking about when he's riding around his
I
bike.
can't. Oh,
So-
getting in the head of a salamander.
So anyway, I loved it, and even though I only got like 50p a day, right, no matter what the weather was like and stuff, I used to get up at 4:30 and go and do the round, and
Why'd you get up at 4:30?
because I wanted to watch the Pink Panther at 5:30, so I wanted to get me paper round done.
I said, why didn't you watch Pink Panther?
And then do the
what?
thing.
He went, oh, I can't sit there thinking I've got my paper round to do.
He'll ruin it for him.
Yeah. So is it a good job or not?
So
Go on.
4:30 I was up and about, and this morning it was like winter, really bad winter, bad snow, you know, freezing cold, really windy and all that. And my mum said to me before I went to bed, she said, don't be getting up tomorrow, I'll give you the 50p. I said, it's not about the 50p, So, you know, people want the papers and stuff. So,
Conscientious.
so anyway, I went to bed thinking, you know, that's it. I've told her I'm still going, so, you know, whatever. Go to sleep, get up in the morning, and put all my kit on. And I used to have layers of clothing on because it was really cold. I had like a big anorak on with the fur on. I had like waterproof pants, and I got my paper round bag. And I went downstairs to get out and tried to open the door, and it was locked. I thought, oh, God. So she'd locked it, so I couldn't go out. So I'm searching around the house looking for the keys. She must have hid them somewhere. I thought, oh, God, you know, I've got the papers to do. So I thought, how can I get out? So I went upstairs, climbed out of the bathroom window.
God.
Right, and to try and jump out of the bathroom window onto the porch. But the problem was, I had so much gear on, I was like the Michelin Man. So I could hardly move as it is.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get out the window, and I'm like, trying to stretch down like that, get my foot on the porch. And my bag got caught on, like, the hook of, do you know, like how you have a hook so you can put the window open?
Right, yeah,
The little arm goes on. My bag had got caught on that. I was holding on to the wall and my foot on the thing, so I couldn't sort of pull it away in case I pulled it away and then fell on my head.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck there.
Dangling.
My dad comes back from working nights.
Yeah.
He thinks I'm a burglar.
Gets out his gun.
So he's shouting and stuff, going mad and going, Dad, it's me. And he had to give us a hand using a...
He's heard that wily trick in Manchester before.
He had to help me using a washing prop thing, a big stick.
What did he do?
Well, he said, just hold on for your dear life, and I'll sort of push the paper bag off the hook.
Why didn't he go upstairs and sort it out?
It was at that point where I was in the middle. There was nothing you could do. Do you know what I mean? It's at that point where you've just got to make a decision.
Yeah.
And by the time you got upstairs, who knows what might have happened?
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? You've got to act there and then, no messing around.
Yeah.
So
And you could hear downstairs, now here he is, the Pink Panther.
Yeah.
Dad!
Hurry up.
Pink Panther, ever so pink. Oh.
so that was close to death, because I must have been about 30 foot in the air.
So, to cut a long story short, he gave me about 4 or 5 near-death experiences, and he went, and the whole point of this, he went, so that's why I think I'm going to die of something horrible, like cancer. And I went, why? He went, right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
He said, well, I don't check my balls. Wait. He said, I don't like the feel.
Carl, always check your balls.
Do you
I
check
don't
yours?
like the feel. Why don't you like the feel of your own balls?
They just... I mean, you know that I don't like bodies anyway.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It worries me a bit that you've got all that going on in your body, right? And your skin's keeping it all in place.
Right. Stop. We're going down a whole other avenue of discussion. Let's play a track, let's come back to it.
All right. This is Karl, the producer of Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant on XFM 104.9. We're playing out some of the best bits. Hope you're enjoying it. Here's another one.
His homework was to come up with those stupid lateral thinking problems.
We maybe should give an example of the.
Romeo and Juliet. Right, Romeo's asleep on the bed. Juliet's on the floor, covered in water and broken glass. What happened? And you ask all these stupid questions, and it's Romeo's a cat and Juliet's a goldfish. Again,
Awful.
What am I thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on then, Carl.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a bloke lying on the floor, right? He's cut his head, blood's coming out of his head, and all his mates come running up, and they're all stood round him.
Yeah.
And they don't take their hats off as a mark of respect.
That is outrageous.
Why didn't they take their hats off?
I'm laughing, but it's probably as good as the real
absolutely.
ones. A bloke's fallen with his... Yeah.
He's lying on the floor.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah.
His mates come running up. Like,
Was it important that his head was cut?
I don't know. I mean,
Would it have been okay if he'd have been wearing a hat? He wouldn't have been dead if he was wearing a hat.
What's your answer?
No, you're meant to answer questions. You don't just go, what's your answer? You say, where's it turns and you go, no, and I have to guess. It's obviously like sort of motorcycle stunt team or a parachute.
Why didn't they take their hats off?
Because they're probably still on the motorbikes or something, or...
Well, yeah, but if you mark a respect to someone, you could take your helmet off.
I'm getting angry.
What? They're parachutists.
Why couldn't they take their helmets off?
Because they're
coming down from the sky.
But he's on the floor dead.
Well,
yeah, but they can look down and see him on the floor.
Are they on the floor, Carl?
They're on the floor as
They're
well.
walking, are they?
Yeah, well, they sort of stood there looking at him.
They're stood there.
Yeah.
They're stood on the floor looking at him.
They're soldiers.
Why? But why? If
because it might be in a battle zone. They might have their helmets on, and he's been shot in the head.
No.
Well, that does work. You see, this is my point. That one works. That one works. Unless you've given us a piece of information where that doesn't work. What's the difference? Why is yours different to he's been shot in the head in the trenches and they're looking at him and they keep their helmets on?
I just don't think it matters as much. If they're in the trench, they're already guarded a little bit, so they could take their hats off. It's the best mate, for God's sake.
Okay, who's dwelling on this? Are they normal hats?
What kind of hats are
Give you
they?
the answer.
No, don't get ratty.
What kind of hats are they? Baseball hats?
If I told you what sort of hats they are, you'd have the answer.
Wow. Okay, I've got to guess what sort of a hat it is then, have I?
Right.
Is it a trilby?
No.
Is it a bowler?
I know what it is.
What?
They're spacemen.
No. Oh, that's a good
That
one.
one works as well. This is my point.
I like that one a lot.
It works. He's fallen on the moon, and not that the moon happened. It was set up, wasn't it, in the studio? We know that. Yeah. Okay, Carl. What's your answer?
Builders on a building site.
Why is that different to soldiers?
Because bricks don't fall in wars.
But bullets fly.
Right.
Let's play a record and we'll come back to it, Carl, while you think about what you've done.
Oh yeah, you've embarrassed
Let's play
yourself.
some classic Suede.
Yeah, and this is for David and Kieran. I think who wanted a bit of Butler. XFM 104.9. I'm Rick Gervais, with me Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. Steve.
Well, we were talking about the news just now, and there was a story I heard in the week. I think it was on the radio, and I don't know all the details. But what I heard was that a number of, I think it was Falkland, maybe Gulf War veterans, were, I think, suing or complaining to the government because they wanted compensation for post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it seems to me that if you're in the army and you're a soldier, a certain degree of trauma is kind of inevitable. I mean, after all, if you're any good at your job, you are going to see people getting killed. So I don't understand what the ins and outs of it are. I don't know why.
No, he already came back and Tony Blair met him and go, all right, well, not really, no. Go on, what's the matter? Well, there was people shooting at us and everything, it was all muddy. Well, calm down, don't cry. Well, I will.
There was a drill sergeant just kept shouting, saying, look at you, stupid boy, where's this
he's
gun's
got a
not clean?
train,
And I
hasn't
just
he?
cleaned the gun and it was fine, and now he's telling me to clean it again.
Yeah, and the boots, they were shiny.
fine, he was
Well, he's
showing.
got to do that, it's more
His
discipline.
neck was as big as his head.
Well, yeah, but you don't know what they,
I don't know what the ins and outs of it are, but
what you got to do is make sure you know what you're going into. That's what I do. You got to check the small print. So if I was, going over to like the Falklands or the Gulf, I'd put my hand and go, will it be horrible? I go, you at the back, yes. Will it be horrible? It will be horrible. Yes, it will be horrible. There will be shooting and lots of death and everything. I go, right. I'm not going to go. And I go,
Exactly.
okay then. Okay.
that should be fine, yeah.
Should be fine. Yeah, just like that. Is anyone else scared about this? Pretty much all of us. Okay, then we won't send anyone then.
Exactly.
My brother went into the army, right? Because he couldn't get a normal job, and my dad said, if you don't get a job by such a date, that's it, son. You're going in the army. And, so when was the Falklands? Was it about
81?
Right, and he joined back in like 81 or something. And he I don't know, he was in Aldershot or something.
Oh yeah.
And he wrote back to my mum saying, a bad time to join, bad time in this. So she wrote.
What bad time to join? That's so sweet, Carl, isn't it? That's like, dear Dad. Yeah, well done.
Don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah. I was on the dole, that's for sure. Thank you for joining a month before the Belgrano.
Anyway,
go on.
My mum called up, spoke to the sergeant, and said, "Can you leave him out of this one?
Can you leave him out of this one? What, the Falkland War?
He's only just joined," and she called him Chuck, which he got done for. Like, she's one of them, I think it's a northern thing, like saying, "How are you, Chuck?"
Yeah.
And she called the sergeant Chuck, and the sergeant said to my brother, your mum, she's called up and asked if you can not go, which, of course, we'll see how it goes. But can you tell
What
her?
do you mean? Why did the sergeant even entertain this?
Well,
Pilkington, come here. Your mum's been giving me a bit of earache. Now listen, tell her I've told you, but can you call her, because she called me Chuck and everything. Can you call her and say you don't mind? Well, not really. Oh, please, because I've promised her say you want to go. No, please, say you want to go. Why was he entertaining this phone call?
because he was new to the army, I suppose.
Who? No, I mean the
your brother.
sergeant.
I don't know, maybe they do that.
So what happened? He didn't go in the end?
So he didn't go, no.
You can't do it.
But that's ludicrous.
I love it, that. Oh, we went over the top. Pilkington,
No,
I've got a note. Yeah. Is this really your mum? Yeah. Okay, no, this seems to be in order.
Because I noticed it says, I do not want to go into the army. I don't want to go and fight. And it's crossed out and it's good. My mum says don't go. Now, you didn't write this yourself?
No,
did you,
my mum
Pilkington?
wrote this. Okay,
You definitely wrote this yourself.
Your excuse. You're going to have to fill envelopes.
No, I'm sure if he was needed, he would have had to go, but I think they made a bit of a special effort. They sort of said, oh.
Well, it wasn't conscription anyway. Oh, no, I was
But were the other soldiers going around just going,
Pilkington.
No, he ended up being a mechanic in there, and he got kicked out for going for a packet of fags in a tank.
what?
Now, wait a minute. Do you mean he nipped down the shops in a tank?
Yeah.
I don't believe that, Carl. You've
Honest to
made that up.
God. That, and he went off with the sergeant's wife. So that didn't help, and he ended up getting kicked out.
Sorry, your brother's a genius.
I love this. First of all, he gets a call from his mum, go and let him up, and he goes, oh, God. Then he goes, where's Pilkington? His mum's on the phone. Where is he? He's near your house, Sergeant. Near my house? Well, why is... No reason. Well, when he comes back, when he's finished, tell him his mum called. And can he get me a packet of fags? Tell him to walk this time.
Wow.
This is ludicrous.
So the sergeant found out that he was sleeping with his wife?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Did your mum phone up and say, let him off?
Let him off
marshal
this
him.
time. Can he... Yeah. That's fantastic.
But he misses it. I mean, I haven't seen him for about 11 years. But ever since he came out, he's just kept getting into trouble and that. And the army, you know, people slag it off. But I think if you're a certain type of person, it's good for
It
you.
didn't straight him out, did it?
No.
He was going down the shops in a tank, he was shagging someone
No,
behind
but
their back.
it's really weird. It's like back then, he was like a proper adult, and he had a house, and he collected crystal with his wife and that. And now, he hasn't got any of that.
Has he got the wife?
No.
Has he got the crystal?
Don't think he has.
And he hasn't got the
I
house.
seriously haven't seen him for about 11 or 12 years.
Oh,
so I haven't even spoken to him.
Carl's stories always start off nice and funny, and then they just leave me empty and slightly depressed. I don't know whether to hug him or shoot him, put him out of his misery. Can we take Carl to the... phone in if you think I should take Carl to the vet and have him put down. Because it's just too stressful.
Coldplay, the scientist. Have you seen the video of that?
Great, it's just brilliant.
I think I might have worked out. What is, he's walking backwards, it's all filmed backwards, but he's singing forward. Now, the only way I can work out they've done it, without CGI in it and cheating with the lips, is that he had to learn it backwards and did it sort of like bit by bit. Did he do that?
He was on Zoe's show, like, about a week ago or something, and
so
he
he
actually sang it backwards.
So he learned phrases and they filmed that.
Yeah.
But he didn't learn the whole song, did he? He couldn't possibly have learned the whole song. He must have, like, stopped it and...
Don't know.
It's a great video, though. They always do a good video.
No, it's very good indeed.
So it was, The Scientist on XFM. Wonderful. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me, Steve Merchant and Karl Pilkington.
I had a bit of good news this morning.
Go
Rick. I was on the tube coming down, and I don't want to sound arrogant, I don't want to sound pushy, but I was at Green Park, and I'm fairly certain, Rick, it's not 100% corroborated, I'm fairly certain that a woman pinched my arse. So what do you think of that? Yes.
There's a lot of pickpockets around Green Park.
No. My wallet was still there.
Really?
But even if it wasn't, you know, that would have been money well spent. But the wallet was still there. So what do you think of them apples? Eh?
So what did she just pinch your arse?
I can't confirm it at this stage, exactly what happened, but it certainly felt like a pinch. I looked round, there was a woman behind me.
Right.
She was fairly old. I think she's probably in her mid-30s.
Right.
Kind of reddish hair.
Right.
I don't know if she's listening.
Right.
But she knows where I am. And so I don't know how to proceed, really, Rick. I don't know if it's worth putting up some posters around the Green Park area.
Well, what you could
just
do...
to try and corroborate
well,
it. If you saw a woman pinch the lanky guy's arse,
no,
please get in touch.
You could probably get in contact with British Rail and go back over their CCTV
CCTV cameras, yeah.
And then they could probably zoom in and, you know, so identifying sort of birthmarks, or she might have been holding some...
Then I could hire a private eye. Yeah. Again, money well spent.
Well, so there you go.
You know, I'm just saying maybe maybe things are looking up.
Things
it's getting towards Christmas.
The worm has turned.
I mean, you know, it's a little sexy story to get the show going.
It is
but
very
what do you make of that then, Carl?
What do you think of that,
you're
Carl?
quite damning. What's your answer?
Well, I mean, you're quite a tall fella.
Sure.
So she must have really wanted to sort of reach up and have a pinch.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Think she was a dwarf?
She did it with her teeth.
He didn't say she was a dwarf.
No, but Steve's taller than, you know, his arse.
Yeah, but his arse isn't 6'9", is it? His arse is about 3 foot off the floor.
4 foot?
What?
4 foot off the floor?
No, I don't think so. About 3. She'd have to be a midget to have to reach up to pinch Steve's arse. He is very tall, but
I don't know what your point is there, Carl. You're just trying to, you're just, I think maybe just a little bit jealous. Just a little bit of jealousy.
Well, do you know what happened to me on the way in?
Go on.
A homeless person called me a dickhead.
How did he know? Do you know him? Is that why?
He's like the local big issue fella.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he knows me. He sees me walking up and down the street.
Oh, that's how he knew you.
Right. So, so normally I have a bit of a chat with him and that. And I walk past him. And, you know, I can be a little bit cheeky with him because I've been cheeky with him in the past with stuff.
You pinched his arse?
No, just, you know, saying stuff like, God, you're always there. I mean, you got home to go to and stuff like that.
Yeah,
no,
just breaking the ice, Go on.
But he knows, and he'd laughed at that, right, last time, so I thought I can be a bit cheeky, right? So he goes, do you want a big issue? I said, no. He said, come on, I've got loads of them, right? So I sort of said, when I was a kid, and I used to do a free paper around the free papers one, I said, just put them in the bin and go home, right? And he went, yeah, but how am I going to get any money doing that, you dickhead?
You see, I can see his point. He is homeless and having to sell newspapers to get 50p or a quid or whatever.
Yeah, and sometimes I treat him, right? And today I didn't have any money. I had a takeaway last night and I normally give them a quid. And I felt bad not being able to do that because I didn't have any money on me last night.
Right.
I couldn't look him in the eye.
Did you explain this to the homeless person, the traumas of the takeaway without the tip? Did you explain that, you know, you've had it hard as well? I go, look, you don't know.
I had food delivered to my warm flat.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare.
You don't know what that's like. You don't know what the trauma is because you can't have food delivered to your flat because you haven't got one. So please don't look at me like that. You should have said.
But most people ignore him. At least I gave him a bit of acknowledgement and sort of...
took the mic.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was. I just was being friendly.
No, I know.
You got to be careful with the homeless because this is true, and this is you know when the clocks went back recently, so you got an extra hour in bed.
Yeah.
And I was at Cash Point with a friend of mine, and there was a homeless person sat by the Cash Point, and you know, we would get some money out, and she said spare some change, and my friend sort of, he's a bit awkward. He just trying to make conversation with her. He went, "Oh, clocks go back, extra hour in bed."
Oh no!
I gave her 2 quid. I felt so bad. He didn't do it intentionally. He didn't realise what he'd said. Just making conversation.
Bumbling.
It's tricky making conversation with the homeless because there's so many areas you've got to avoid. You know what was on the telly.
Yeah.
You know.
Although I get recognised by homeless people and think, I don't know where.
Well, you've got to remember that's very much your demographic, Rick.
Yeah.
You know, people who watch TV through the window of Dixon's.
In Dixon's. Yeah, there was a Ricky Gervais is on. Pop the telly on.
They can smell the alcohol on you. They think you're one of them.
I've had to cut down on that. I've been really good with this training thing.
The boxing.
Play a record and I'll tell you about that. I had my first week of training. I'm in trouble. I'm struggling.
What do you want to play?
Oh, we've got a bit of, have we? Stone Roses, classic.
Feeder, come back around. XFM 104.9. Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. Alright? Yeah, so I had my first week of training for this, charity boxing. For those who don't know, I'm fighting Grant Bovey, Anthea Turner's husband. It sounds arbitrary, but it's actually because he's, 41 and about my weight, a bit taller, I think. But, and we've never done it before, but, no, it'd be fun. Battling someone for charity.
Yes.
No, but, it's, and I can't believe my luck, because I've been a fight fan for like 30 years, and they took me shopping, they bought me all the gear, and, the training's great. It's really hard. I mean, it's, I imagine it'd be really hard, and it's probably slightly harder than I imagined. And the only bit I like, so I don't like all the exercise and all the stuff you've got to do. I like the bits that look a bit like something I've seen in a Rocky film.
Right, sure.
You know, we did that thing with the string along the ring, and I have to pop up and punch, and that.
Right.
That was great.
Right, nice.
Skipping's not bad. I'm trying to get good at that. I like that ball that you go.
Yeah. Are you any good at that? Is that?
I'm getting good at it.
And what's that teaching you, that particular thing? It's just the rhythm, is it?
It's rhythm, and of course your arms are up for that long, so you've got to keep your guard up all the time.
Yeah.
So that teaches you to keep your arms up.
And you were up at 6 this morning. You broke some raw eggs into a cup, and then you ran up the steps of the town hall, didn't you? I know.
With loads of people following me, and I shouted "Bovey" at the top. No, I'm not going mad. Just you know, once every other day. But I'm struggling now. I woke up today, and it's like I'd been hit by a car.
Yeah.
Just everything aches, so muscles you haven't used. But, anyway, I had a meeting, the first time with the people, the program makers, because they're following me for a month and everything, and Grant as well. And they said, you need a sort of nickname, just for a laugh. And I went, what's Grant using? They said, I think he's going to use Gorgeous Grant Bovey, or Grant. I went, I don't know, so I better go against that. What about, Ricky Jippo Gervais?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, yeah, so, anyway, I had a freaking with Frank Maloney meeting the next day, and, it's sort of, you've got to do this nickname. And the bloke said, I checked out that name, you can't call yourself Jippo. I went, well, of course I can't, I was joking. He went, well, I said, well, it's racist, I was joking, I was making a joke about me, and he went, oh, I don't know. And then, I went down to get the, buy all the gear from this shop.
They'd have the dressing gown made?
Yeah, yeah. And I was picking all the stuff, I was going, oh, look, that's like Naz wore. Oh, look, that's like Ali wore in the... And I'm going, I'll have that, picking all the gear and everything. And, there was a couple of boxers down there, sort of like looking at me, thinking, who's that fat bloke taking up boxing at 40? And, I said, I wasn't it? And, the bloke went, oh, yeah, how you doing? I went, oh, yeah, so how long have you been in the game? He said, I've been boxing 20 years. So how many fights you had? He said, about 40. I said, oh, yeah, help me, I've got to think of a nickname. And I thought, Ricky Balboa Gervais. He went, right. I went, or Ricky Marciano Gervais. He looked at me and went, what about Ricky Martin? Oh, dear.
Absolutely justified.
Yeah, I'm not respected yet in the boxing world.
No, sure.
But, I mean...
It's only a matter of time. Once they see you fight, Rick, everything's gonna change.
So,
have you actually punched anyone yet? Have you actually...
No, I haven't punched person. I've punched pads, and I've punched the bag, and I've sort of sparred and that.
I know you're gonna get a chance to punch someone.
As I suspected, my punching power's alright, but my fitness is... I mean, it felt like I was smoking.
Yeah.
But there's, bits of lung that haven't had oxygen in them for 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. And also because it's not only it's being filmed, but there's other fighters there that are ridiculous. They're like machines, right? And it's that thing. I can go right. I can come out on top, but die now of a heart attack, but never give up. Or I can sit down and go, I'm sorry, I feel ill. And I chose that one, and of course they took the mick.
Well, of course.
But I mean, soon. As I said, I haven't got the respect yet of the boxing fraternity, but...
And how long have you got then before...
4 weeks.
Okay, so, and do they think that they can turn you around health-wise in that time?
No, they're
going to be coming out on a Zimmer
No, they're going to teach me the basics and see how it goes, Right. But I mean,
and each round is 4 seconds, is that right?
Yeah, 2 4-second rounds.
With a 2-hour break in between each one. Sit-down meal.
So, give the number. I want serious suggestions of my fighting name. Nothing insulting, so we can actually use.
Well, let's give out the email, that's always the easiest. Ricky.Gervais at xfm.co.uk. What's the number, Carl?
08700 800 1234.
And it doesn't have to be in the middle, it could be at the beginning, like... The Rage.
Okay.
Ricky the Rage.
Ricky the Tits. Sure.
Ricky the Man, play a record.
It was a good day, yeah. Ice Cube talks to me about my life in the hood.
Yeah.
A couple of emails are already coming in. They're flooding in, Rick, inevitably, as boxing name suggestions for you. This is one from Matt, I think. He's given a couple, actually. Ricky the Pudding Gervais. Ricky Big Mac Gervais. There's a theme here. Ricky Pasty Gervais. The Pasty. I quite like the Pasty. Here comes the Pasty.
As Carl said, he said the thing is, if you have a really good nickname, it's embarrassing when you lose, whereas if you just call yourself, it's not so embarrassing when you lose. Carl, this is doing no good for my ego.
Do you know what I mean? If you have, like, Killer Gervais.
Yeah, and then you end up, like, vomiting, choking on your own vomit upside down, hanging out the ring.
What happens if you win? Do you have to...
Whereas there goes the pasty being stretchered off in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not such a problem.
There he is, being lightly basted. And chucked down a mine. What do you mean, what do I have to do?
Say if you beat Grant, say if that happened.
Yeah.
Right. What happens next?
What do you mean, what happens next? What? Do you think, this is a contention fight for the big one?
But do they...
Well, then we make Ricky 2.
No, but, do you know if they're planning on making more money? Because it's for comic relief, isn't it? So what happens on the night?
No, it's for a charity of our
comic
choice.
relief would make sense.
Yeah.
Well, whatever, right.
Yeah, it was last time. I think it was last time.
Is it sport relief? It's not sport.
It was last time, but I think this is a programme where
And how do you make money for charity from this? Do we pay to sort of for how many punches to the head you're going to take? Or
No, I just
how
think
long you're going to last?
I assume the BBC donate money, or someone, or a sponsor or whatever, so I don't know, just donate money. Because it's actually a programme, this is more about a programme with a charity angle. So, yeah.
So as if you get, like, killed, there's more money and food to go around. Maybe. But no, I mean, the thing is, what's the next step? Because if they go like, right, yeah, well done, you've won, thank you very much.
Well, Carl, what do you expect? That its winner stays on?
Yeah.
Like in a fair, where I go there, I'd let people punch me in
on Bernard Manning.
Yeah. And then my twin gets up.
Yeah.
It's a programme.
He's not going to turn pro.
It's like faking it.
Yeah, but what's the point if it's not going to go anywhere?
Well, look,
sorry, him fighting Grant Bovey in a ring is not entertainment enough.
Yeah, what's the matter with you, Carl?
Grant's going to get his face pummeled in. That's going to be hilarious.
Right, when I did boxing at the youth club.
When he did boxing, he fought once, he fought a little weak kid, because it was his first day, battered him. Next week, it was someone else's turn, and he got battered and he left.
Yeah, I said, right, I've had enough. But there was
yeah.
There was a ladder there that I had to work, right? And I decided after the sort of the first step, I thought, it's not for me, this.
Yeah.
But if you win, it's all kind of like, right, well...
Yeah, the world's your oyster.
But it's a programme. It's just a one-off programme, isn't it? It's like, it is like, you got to treat it like faking it.
Yeah, but faking it, right? That little gay fella who ended up being a doorman, he's actually doing that as a proper job now or something. He loved it so much.
Do you seriously think I have any intentions of getting into the fight game and leaving entertainment behind?
Well, what's the point then?
What do you mean? What's the point in what's the point in watching television? It's entertainment.
Or educational. I watch it to sort of soak in information.
Well, this is educational. I'm learning a lot. I'm actually learning a lot, and I can't believe my luck. I've got professionals telling me, you know, hopefully how to lose weight and punch hard. That's just fun. It's like having golf lessons.
Right, but say, I mean, here's an example.
Go on.
It's a nice way to plug it. We've got Rockbusters coming up in about 10 minutes or something, right? Now,
look forward to that.
People email in, and they don't just do it for fun. They do it because they know they've got some good prizes lined up.
Right.
So they're doing it because it gets them something.
Yeah, my prize is that I've learned something in life. I've gone through an experience, and hopefully I'll come out in some way better if I don't get mashed. That's it. That's the prize. That's why we do anything, isn't it?
I think this is example of you, Carl, is you give up too easy.
Yeah,
you took up the boxing, you gave that up straight away.
You think there's no point in anything?
I did Crusaders for I think I lasted that out for about 4 weeks.
What's Crusaders?
Well, it was my mate, right? He was religious.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not really. But
no, I mean, you believe in ghosts, though, and shadows pushing people off bikes, but go on.
But it's the same time, I think I told you once before that I went to the church with this lad because I swore and he said he was going to tell me dad.
Yeah.
I was effing and jeffing. So he said, if you're going
Is that how they get people to church nowadays?
I love that one kid that, he hasn't got the idea of the protection game. There's nothing in it for him. Either you turn to religion or I tell your father.
Right, so I went to church with him and that, and then the next week he said, I know that was rubbish and you didn't enjoy it. It's when I got kicked out for messing with a tennis ball in the pews, right?
I don't think we've heard that, but I don't think we could possibly go into that now.
Summed it up.
Yeah.
So,
well, no.
Come on, we'll come back to that. You had a tennis ball and some pubes.
No, in the pews.
In the pews, right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I went there and I said, I don't think much of this church thing, it's a bit boring.
Sorry, and so you went to church and you ended up in the Crusades?
No, it's called the Crusaders. What it is, it's meant to be the fun part of religion for kids.
Right.
And my mate said, oh, you want to come along? It's, you go on a Friday night and do it on a Sunday as well. Right, so I went on the Friday night. It was brilliant. They had Sabutio, played table tennis in this dead big old house.
And what do they do at the end? Say, I hope you enjoy yourself. Remember, God gave you all this.
Well, it's sort of, enjoy the simple things in life. You don't need computer games. You can play table tennis and that, and talk with your friends.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. I thought, that's all right.
I think you'd be happy in a young offenders institution. You get to clean the toilets there.
But don't forget, Carl, I think God invented Nintendo too.
Right. Well, anyway, so that was all right. I loved it on the Friday.
Yeah.
And my mate said if you go for 4 weeks in a row without missing a day, you get a free badge. And I was
And
like,
salvation.
I don't like all this sort of being stuck in stuff. Do you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what did me head in
Yeah,
about
don't get
school.
tied down.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, every day.
Yeah.
Right, so, anyway, so you've got to come again on Sunday, so I thought, well, we'll have another game of table tennis, it'll be alright.
Yeah.
So anyway, I go on the Sunday.
Who was this servant of God?
Right. I go on the Sunday, it's like a totally different club. There's no table tennis,
That's how they trick you.
no Sabutio.
Yeah.
They start handing out Bibles.
Oh.
and
It's
I
like a
s- I was
timeshare
like, Hang
thing.
on a minute, right?
They trick you.
So I didn't go again on Sundays. I used to just go on the Friday.
Just go on the Friday. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm amazed no one else saw through that.
Well, the thing is, there used to be loads there on the Friday, so I
bet there
thought they won't even notice if that
Yeah.
I'm not, like,
Yeah,
do you
sure.
know what I mean? That I'm not showing up on a Sunday. So anyway, carried on. It was
Just
brilliant.
this kid in the vicar?
Oh, I love that. You got one over on the church.
So
Yeah.
I was loving it, right? Playing table tennis and that.
Yeah,
and then
no
on a Sunday, they found out where I live, and the head fella started coming round, knocking on the door.
God.
He's everywhere, Rick.
Why did he knock?
The fella,
Politeness.
the fella who like ran the club, he started coming round, knocking on the door. And I saw him coming up the path, and I said to my mum, "Oh, it's the fella from the Crusaders."
Yeah.
She didn't even know what I was.
No.
in. She
She thought
like,
you were
"What
off
are
nicking
talking
hubcaps
about?"
and stealing cars.
She
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
have a clue what I was talking about.
You've been going to
You
church?
went to church? I don't
You
believe it.
little
That's
bleeder.
not how we brought you up.
So I said, "Look, just tell him I'm not in. Tell him I'm not in." And she had to keep doing this, and they were coming round every Sunday to try and make me, like, go on a Sunday. It was really important that I went and that I was abusing the system and all this. Anyway, I didn't go. And then
Why didn't they just tell you on next time we turned up on a Friday?
Yeah.
No, well, because there was so many people there on a Friday, you just get mixed in the crowd.
Yeah.
It was jammed. It was well popular on a Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, on one of the Sundays, it was quiet for a bit, and they stopped coming round. So I thought, right, I can go out again, right, on a Sunday, because I used to avoid hanging around the house in case.
What sort of reign of terror is this?
Incredible.
Right. So I thought,
It's
right.
like the Spanish Inquisition.
So I thought, great, they forgot about me.
Yeah.
Everything, I can carry on in sort of normal life now.
Yeah.
And I was playing out in the avenue. Fella comes round.
Oh.
And he goes, "There you are. You know, you're always busy on a Sunday. You enjoy Fridays and that, don't you?" I was like, yeah. He goes, "Well, come on, you've got to come with me." And I couldn't get out of it.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, what could I say,
Charlie says.
right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, he nearly killed me in a car crash. So that was the excuse I used next time. He had a Mini, right? And he was driving us there, and he hit the curb, nearly sort of turned over the Mini. Right? There was like 3 of us in the back. So I said,
Is that a record?
so next time
Or was
he
it a
came,
joke?
next
Go
time
on.
he came round to pick us up, I said, "Look, really enjoyed it and that." I said, "But ever since that journey, I really, you know, I don't want to get in the car with you again because it scared me a bit." And I said,
Right.
"All right then, I didn't have to go again."
That's all right, isn't it?
That's extraordinary.
Yeah.
He almost killed you in a car
It's a
crash.
parable. Thank God no one was hurt.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Your life moves in incredible ways.
Yeah.
Rather like God.
Yeah. So,
So there you go.
they're probably round there now, aren't they? Going, is he coming
Is he
tomorrow?
co-
What we got?
Well, are we talking about the prizes next?
Well, let's talk about the prizes.
We've
We've got the big game Rockbusters coming your way soon, Rick. I know you're excited about that. And is there more educating Ricky this week? Have you got that planned?
There is. We are struggling on that feature a bit now because I feel like we've covered a lot of topics.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know about hairy Chinese kids
Yeah.
and deaf people that hit their head and can hear again. So I don't think there's lots more to learn in life. And the amazing Karl Pilkington. Right, prizes. List them.
Rockbusters.
Yeah.
It's one of the big exciting quiz shows, and this may be one of your last chances to play. There's rumours that it's going to get ditched, Rick. Rumours that Karl Pilkington, the creator and mastermind behind it, has already grown tired of it. It's off and the way. You heard them earlier on, the very best of the Stone Roses from that. We played I Want to Be Adored. That's one of the prizes. That's a nice little Christmas compilation.
Second hand now then, really, isn't it?
Second hand, yeah.
Yeah.
50 years of the greatest hit singles. I'll tell you there's some great stuff on here.
Oh, go on.
Opens, Rick, with Bohemian Rhapsody.
One of the biggest number ones of all time.
If you've not heard that enough already, you're followed then by John Lennon's Imagine, Candle in the Wind, Elton John. You've got
all
sorts
on one
here.
CD, Stephen.
Well,
These are some of the greatest rock minds.
They've chosen some of the best songs by some of the best artists.
Go on.
Paul McCartney's Mull of Kintyre. That's on there. We've got, let me see. Culture
That is pretty impressive, though, because they are real big classic number ones, as opposed to, you know, the song by the artist they didn't really care about. You see those things on, this is not available in the shops, and it's, you know, the second best song artists have done.
It seems odd that we're giving it away on XFM, because it includes Robbie Williams' Angels, Atomic Kitten's Whole Again, Spice Girls Wannabe, Kylie Minogue's Can't Get You Out of the Head, and I think it closes, well, it almost closes with Steps Tragedy. That's the penultimate track. It ends, though, any ideas? It's a big, big hit single.
But
Did they know it's Christmas? Band-Aid. Perfect for your Christmas party.
Sure.
We've also got the Groove Armada current album. Is that from them? And signed by the man himself, the Big Beach Boutique DVD, Fatboy Slim's concert on that Brighton beach. And there's all kinds of treats on there. And includes an audio commentary by Norman Cook. I don't know how that works. 3 hours of him going, this is where the needle almost jumps. Watch this for this. I did a little bit of scratching. I'm not very good at scratching, but just look forward to that.
I'm putting a different track. You'll see me there. There's the crowd loving it.
Here's me. I'm just waiting. This is where I go from Conga Squad to Basement Jacks.
Yeah.
Look forward to that.
That's one of mine. I'll pop on what you see there. I've got Praise You ready.
I just got that. That was slightly dusty. I just had to wipe that down with a damp rag.
Yeah.
So we look forward to that. Plus, I suppose this is good if you're a fan. This is a box set of the first series of Linda Green. I think a new series starts this week, or has already started. I'll tell you what I found when I was clearing up, Rick, because I know it's not a big movie this week. We normally give away a big movie. I was moving house this week, and I found a video that you're more than welcome to if you're a fan. Now it stars Kurt Russell. Executive Decision. I've got that to give away if you're interested. Executive Decision with Steven Seagal in a cameo as well. So I think it's on TV this week, Rick. So if you miss it this coming Friday, you don't tape it this Friday.
Well,
here it is on video.
Bring it in, because I think Carl's excited about that. I think Carl would like to win that, wouldn't you?
Great prizes there.
How about if you come up with an extra Rockbusters today? For the bonus prize.
I don't think I'm the man for the job, Carl. I think it has to come from your unique take on the world.
Carl, I don't think you've quite worked out why you're funny and why things you do are good. Go on then.
Right, you ready then? So, just in case you haven't heard it before, I'll give you some initials of a band or an artist.
We're not doing Rockbusters now, are we?
Yeah, I thought, well, we've just...
Oh, then we can keep that going. Then we've got... Well, I love educating Ricky. That's my favourite thing now.
Well, what do you want to do, Steve? I mean,
let's hear the clues.
It's just like it's sort of bigged up the prizes.
And so this is only by email. Give the email address out now for people to write it down now, Carl.
Right, it's ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk. Only entries on email.
Yeah.
You're going to get 3 clues. You've got to get them all right.
And you win all the
You win all those prizes you said. Okay, Carl, go on then.
Right, and just a quick example, one of the first ones we did, it was like AK, and the clue was Exploding Pet, and it was Atomic Kitten, right? Yeah. So you understand how it works now. These are your clues. The first one, that army has got some well-nice trenches.
That army has got some well-nice trenches. Excellent.
Yeah. And the initials there are DW.
Do you write some of the questions for 15 to 1?
Go on.
So that army has got some
similar phrasing.
Trenches, okay.
Okay.
The second one.
What were the initials there, Carl, on that person?
DW.
DW.
Yeah. Right, the second one. The top of them curtains are all wrecked. All the materials all worn.
He acts it out, though. We've got to get him on telly. We have got to get him on telly, because his little face and his gestures...
That's the second one, the initials being HV, okay? The top of those curtains are wrecked. All the materials all worn out, right? HV. And the final one, here's the final clue. I was in Texas the other week, right? I tripped and landed on my knees in a puddle.
What's the
initials? WH for that one. So I was in Texas, I tripped up, landed on my knees in a puddle. So that's WH.
Incredible.
You've got it!
Is it great?
It's fantastic! It doesn't work!
Okay, time during the record, Remember you're playing for these compilation albums? We've got the Fatboy Slim DVD, Linda Green on VHS, and of course, Executive Decision, starring Kurt Russell as well.
Oh, God! Bob Dylan. Just Like a Woman on XFM 104.9.
A couple more names, boxing nicknames for you, Rick. I think this is from Josh. Ricky Blue Eyes, I quite like. And he's also put Toad Rage. which I quite like. I'll tell you, our number 1 fan has emailed again, I'm pleased to announce.
Who?
Richard Anderson, Dickie Anderson. He was in touch last week.
Is back.
He
loves this show.
He's such a fan of the show. And this week he's emailed in, what actually is the point of your show? Is it to confuse, irritate, depress, or what? All of those things, Dickie. Thanks for noticing.
Oh, he loves this show.
He's such a fan. He's such a fan.
He's
Because last week, you remember, Carl, he emailed in to say that he'd rather spend his time counting his feet than listen to this show. Presumably he's done that. Yeah. And he's decided to email in.
Wonder how many feet.
Incredible. Yeah.
No, but he loves this show.
Good, yeah. So, thanks, R.A. Thanks for listening.
See you later. Missy Elliott. Work it on XFM 104.9. Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington.
Educating Ricky?
Do
Yeah.
you want to do a bit of that?
Well, the clues are coming in furious.
The answers, I should say.
Yeah. So go on in. Oh, this is what.
Yeah, Rockbusters is well underway, Carl. Don't worry, you've done your work now.
Okay.
Right, come on.
Right, educating Ricky.
This is my favourite bit now.
You're just going to tease us, aren't you, with 3 headlines, if you
And
like.
I'll choose one, then we got the other 2 as well.
Yeah, that's the way it works, and at the end of it, you learn some stuff. Like I say, I'm struggling a bit with knowledge.
Yeah.
At last he confesses.
Yeah, go on.
So the 3 headlines for you to pick from, we've got, first one, we'll have a big fire tomorrow.
I got a feeling there's some vegetables involved.
Go on.
Maybe. Second one, he's a bit of a nuisance.
Okay.
Right.
And third one, I'll bacon in the morning if you're sick of having me here.
Oh, that one.
I'll bacon in the morning if you're sick of having me here.
Right, I'm having that one.
That's brilliant.
Right, well, it's a saying. Do you know cold shoulder? Giving someone the cold shoulder?
Yeah.
Right, if you have someone round at your house and, you know, you try to get rid of them and they're hanging around and stuff and you're like, oh, I wish they'd go, I'm tired and that. Well, years ago...
when? Literally years ago. Well, ages ago.
Sort of,
olden times.
I think it said medieval times.
Yonks ago, then. Yonks ago.
Yeah, medieval,
We're going back quite a bit on this
Well,
one.
you know when you find out these books, why don't you just pop down when it was?
Just make a note.
I don't think it says all the time. It just sort of says, you know, a few years back.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Well,
Never.
All right, I'll make an effort next week.
Okay.
Right? So, it's annoying that, because my girlfriend said to me, just make a note at the time and they'll stop having a go at you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And I kind of thought, it's all right.
Didn't listen?
I don't think it matters anyway in this one. We're looking at the saying, right? So it's giving someone a cold shoulder, right? And what it is, right, ages ago, there wasn't enough houses for people.
Right.
Because there wasn't much money being made. You know, there weren't big businesses. People weren't earning good money like they are now. So there wasn't as many houses, right? So what you ended up getting is like, you know, the rich people having a nice place to live.
Oh.
And the poor people were like wandering about, you know, looking for places to live and that. And what they ended up doing is they had like, people would go around to the mate's house and say, look, I haven't got anywhere to live. It's a bit cold. Can you let me stay? Right? So they'd go, oh, all right, then you can stay a couple of days. But they ended up staying for like weeks.
Yeah.
Right? So to sort of get rid of them, what they'd end up doing, they'd be making the dinner, and they'd be making a lovely dinner, like a bit of meat, nice warm meat, and nice veg, gravy. And
This happened every time, did it? This is where the saying came from.
This is what happened, Rick.
This is happened every time.
It was in that vague book.
The book of vague sayings and stuff.
Right, so they'd be making a nice meal, but what they did, they looked after all the family, but the person who won't go home, they just give them some, like, sort of a cut-off of cold meat.
Right.
So they'd say, you're giving them the cold shoulder, meaning...
Right. Okay, that's rubbish. Okay, absolute.
Carl, why would that necessarily work?
Yeah. Why do they always, in every situation when you want to get rid of a lodger, well, still feed him every day, but make the meat lukewarm. So they
always leave then.
Yeah.
Oh, this food's lukewarm. I'm gonna become homeless
and
again,
they go,
wandering the streets.
Hold on, are you giving me the cold shoulder? Yes. Do you want me to leave? Yes, just say leaving. No, I like to do it cryptically. That way, in years to come, someone will have a little saying about it.
Well, anyway, that was our bacon in the morning. If you've had enough of meat, we'll leave that.
Well,
I'll bake on in the morning. I'll bake on in the morning if you've had enough of me.
So come back. What are the others? Just tease us again with the others. We'll come back to those.
You've got, he's a bit of a nuisance, and we'll have a big fire tomorrow.
Nice, looking forward to that.
Nirvana, in their version of The Man Who Sold the World, the David Bowie tune. It's good.
Good tune.
Taken from that new Nirvana compilation.
I like that version, I like the David Bowie version.
You can't decide, can you, Rick? You're torn.
In fact, I like the Lulu version as well.
Is there a Lulu version?
Maybe we should play that one week. Yeah.
Was this recorded, what, in the 70s?
I think she recorded it about the same time as David Bowie. I don't know if he released it as a single. I think it was just on off the album.
Interesting.
Karl is studying. Okay, what's the next one? What's the next educating Ricky?
I don't know, see, like I say, I was looking around and there's stuff that is interesting, right? I was looking on the web.
But there's no point.
Well, it's just that I found one about,
what's the point?
About a lad who, 8 years old, but he's still breastfed. Now, I don't know if you can get anything out of that.
Is that what his mum said?
So,
what do you mean I don't know if I can get anything out of that? You don't need to.
No, it's just that, you know...
Where did you read that?
That was on the internet.
Oh, well, yeah.
You're always unspecific when you mention it. It's just it was on the internet.
Well, I'm trying to think what I put in. I think I put in Y to see if I'd confuse the computer.
Go! You are...
No, I did
no, honestly.
I did a search, put in Y, and it came up with funny things that, like, why is this person doing that? Why is that? And it had a picture of this 8-year-old lad, sort of, you know, on his mum's nipple. And, it was saying, you know, is this healthy?
You sure that wasn't asking you that question?
What? I put in Y to confuse the computer. Like, the computer going, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh, look, last week, I was walking, home with him, and I went, he was saying something stupid, and I went, I've got a competition for next week. Let's do a phone-in, and it's called Karl Pilkington, Genius or Fool.
Yeah.
Right? And he went, no. I went, why not? He went, well, it'd be confusing, because they say there's no difference between genius and being a fool.
We do that, don't we?
No, but it's rubbish, and people say there's a fine line between madness and genius, and, you know, it's a ridiculous soundbite. They don't say there's a fine line between a genius and an idiot.
Well, the people who do are idiots.
Yeah.
So what would you do there, though, just to sort of wrap that little thing up? What would you do? That lad loves his mum's milk.
What are you asking me to come up with?
No, I'm
a
just...
title for the story?
No, it's just what would you do? Right?
What do you mean, what would I do?
Well, it's causing a bit of a problem in the area, right?
What area?
In America, I think it was.
Oh, America are a problem, are they? George Bush is worried about this kid who's breastfeeding at 8.
Imagine it like this, right?
Right. No, so, Karl, what are you asking me? About this spurious story you saw on the internet?
I saw on the internet, there's an 8-year-old lad, he likes his mum's milk, and it's saying, is this right? Should it
No,
be
it's
going
not.
on?
But what
do you want Ricky to do about it? It's not his responsibility.
Yeah.
No, but the little town that he lives in, they're all causing an uproar, right? Going, this isn't right, you know, I can't let my kid play out in case he's in the garden with his mum getting a bit hungry, right? So, what should they do? Because his mum's saying, well, he likes it.
Yeah.
And he, you know, so what do you do?
I don't know the laws.
No, but I'm not asking you to sort out the laws. I'm just saying, if you lived in that neighbourhood, what would you say? If you went up to him and said, look, everyone's getting a bit fed up with this, look.
I'd say, what would I do? What do you mean, what would I do? What are you asking me?
Right, it doesn't matter.
No, what are you asking me? What are you asking me and Steve and the public?
I'm just saying, say if you live next door to this woman.
Yeah.
Right? The kid's hungry, 8 years old, he's out playing on his bike and he goes, Mum, I'm getting a bit peckish, and he goes, all right, son. She whops one out. And he starts having his milk, right? You live next door, you're putting your washing out, and you see this going on. You're getting a bit sick of it, because it's gone on for months.
8 years, I assume.
Why is it your business? Why are you such a nosy neighbour that you're concerned?
What would you do, Karl? Let's turn it back on him.
Yeah.
What would you do?
What's your solution?
What would you do?
Well, I thought I'd say, right, why are you doing this? And she'd say, because he likes it. And I go, all right then, put it in a bowl first.
And you think that would sort that out?
No, because I was thinking about the whole thing, right? And you do that when you're a baby, and everything's all right, innit?
Yeah.
No one bats an eyelid at a little baby having a bit of milk from its mum's breast, right?
Yeah.
You'd almost say it was natural.
But you grow out of it. It's like you don't see. It got me thinking about things you don't see, and you don't see.
Did you put this into a computer? Show me things you don't see.
What else don't you see?
Well, you don't see, like, an old man having a Twix. You never... So what...
You know the terrible thing about all this, Steve, is he's right.
You don't see an old man
I
eating a
know,
Twix.
that's a terrible thing.
So what they have got, right, they've made old man toffees, haven't they? They've come up with Werther's.
Is that a song? Oh, God. You don't see it.
No, listen now. So they've got their Werther's, right?
Yeah.
So,
look at him. You think he's giving a lecture at Oxford?
It's not going anywhere.
No, go on, sorry. Go on.
I'm just saying,
right.
You grow out of things.
Yeah.
And the old man, I'm sure when he was a kid, he'd have a Twix.
Yeah.
But now it doesn't look right, so he's having...
It doesn't look right.
So...
Right.
I don't think Werther's originals were specially designed for old people. I think they were sweets that just happened to have been made for years. That's why old people eat them.
Yeah.
They didn't go, hang on, there's a market here. I've noticed old people aren't eating Twixes. Quick, let's make some old man sweets.
But the little advert, he gives it to his grandson as well, doesn't he? He goes, I have a Werther's original.
Oh, I think it cuts, though, before he throws it back in his face and goes, get me a Twix. And a damn curly-whirly, Grandad, you old fool.
Electric Six, Danger, High Voltage on XFM, 104.9. Sums up the show. Danger, High Voltage. Indeed. Ricky Gervais with me, Steve Merchant, and the amazing Karl Pilkington. So, other things you don't see, Karl? Got any other ones, or you obviously been thinking about this?
What
confuses you? When you look out your window, what confuses you with the world? What do you walk around going, oh, that's a bit weird? I remember, when you were in, Edinburgh, you were confused because you saw someone putting a parking ticket on some rubbish, which confused you.
Yeah. That was weird.
Yeah.
The world's a crazy place, isn't it? I mean, whatever you look at, you can... Do you know what I mean?
Like what? Like what?
Well, anything. I mean, you could look out the window there and you'll see something. You go, why are they doing that?
Yeah.
What are they doing that for?
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, maybe we should bring back White Van Karl. There's some interesting questions this week, Rick.
Yeah.
We could pull that out of the bag if you're interested.
Shall we do that?
Just get Karl's take on the world's...
Let's do it, let's do it.
I'll tell you what, we'll do that in a second. Let's have another Educating Ricky, because I think you got sidetracked with your talk of
Well, just the other thing on things you don't see. Look at the way when I went to school, there was 2 kids with them big heads. Now...
You don't
never see them.
Sure.
Yeah, but no one else saw them anyway, Karl. It's only you that saw 2 of them, not related, and wouldn't hang around with each other because you think they thought it would be too obvious. Webbed fingers and big heads. That's amazing.
And there was a kid with a pigeon chest. So.
Oh yeah, and the lady with the head like a bag of spuds.
Let's not go through these again. It just raises too many questions that can't be answered.
Yeah.
Right then. So we've got we'll have a big fire tomorrow.
Yeah, go on.
Is that the one you want?
Let's go for it.
Right. I think this was like round the 1700s.
Bluffing.
And
Just bluffing.
Who
was the king then?
Don't know.
Go on.
But it's about the word bonfire, right?
Bonfire.
Bonfire.
Yeah.
Do you know where it comes from?
No, go on.
No.
Right, what happened is it's got nothing to do with Guy Fawkes and that, which is what I thought when I saw it. It's got nothing to do with that. But ages ago, at 1700s, right, they didn't have enough houses, like I mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if that happens, you get people living on the streets. You get diseases, people aren't cleaning properly. So you get more deaths. All right?
Yeah.
So think about it. You've got all these dead bodies lying around. They're running out of space because there's like, I don't know why they're running out of space, but they haven't got much. I don't know why really. I was going to say they should have just buried them, but there's probably more land back then than now. Think about it.
He doesn't need anyone else in the room to have a
conversation with himself.
Yeah, we could leave and we'd come back and he'd go, I've sorted it. Yeah,
But anyway, for some reason,
They presumably, if it's going to be they burnt them, it's presumably to do that it also kills the parasite or whatever's carrying the parasite on them, as opposed to burying them and not killing the disease.
well, yeah. So there you go. You've worked it out. They piled them up and they turned it into a celebration because there was a lot of fed up people at that time.
Is this to be the word bon, meaning good?
No. I'll tell you in a minute.
Go on.
So you've got all these people who are like going around and like, oh, you know, so and so died the other day, and you know, nearly every week someone they knew was dying. So you can imagine like just constant like being depressed. So and they've got all these bodies lying everywhere. It's like, oh God, what are we going to do? So they said, we're all too fed up at the moment. Said, let's make this a better world.
This was 1701 by the time they got together.
So they said, what we need to do is have a big party. So they said, yeah.
Good thinking.
See what you're thinking. So they go, right, well, we'll put all the bodies in a big pile. And they're all diseased and that, so they set fire to the bodies. And they said, let's have this as a celebration to remember them by. And, you know, we'll have a drink and that, and have a chat. We'll have this big fire going, and it came from bone fire.
Ah, right.
So it was all the bones. Bonfire is bone fire.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So that's how it came about.
Yeah, in the 1700s.
Yeah.
That was?
No, probably. I reckon it was 1600.
Probably earlier.
I reckon it was the plague. I reckon it came from.
But interesting stuff. Interesting
So
stuff.
that's
Did you celebrate Bonfire Night? Is that a big celebration for you? Do you like the fireworks? I'm sick of fireworks. I just think they're rubbish.
I'm not impressed.
I've never been impressed by fireworks. Even as a kid, you know, you have to go to like sort of community kind of gatherings with a bonfire and fireworks, and some local vicar or whatever would come out and.
But I also think the adults think the kids love it, and if they just got together and said, "Should we go this year?" They'd all go, "No, let's not
absolutely.
go. Let's not go this year."
What would be better is if the vicar had wheeled out like a massive rocket, climbed in, gone last one to the moon is a bender, and then fired himself off. Now that, I'd pay to see. That's a fireworks display I'd like to see. As it is, it's just rubbish.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Is that your feeling, Carl?
Yeah, I'm not keen.
No.
Sorry, what clue was that?
We'll have a big fire tomorrow.
Bone marrow. Bone marrow. Genius. Let's play the record.
Oh God! Right, what's this? Go on. Tell them, go on, just get on with it, because I just can't believe what you just said.
What are we doing? Are we, final one?
Yeah.
Right, the last one, like I said...
No. Say the record. Say the record you played. Go on.
This is, free association.
Yeah, brilliant,
of
right.
Shadow Wood and Art.
Yeah, and what did you just say to me just before this was ending? He just looked over at me and went, are there any animals without a brain?
No, but hang on a minute.
No, right. And I went, yeah, there's animals that... He went, I was going to talk about this, but it's sad. There's a lad born without a brain, and he laughs a lot, and his hearing and his sight's okay. I'll go, well, that's impossible. If he's without a brain, all that is impossible. And he went, well, it was in the magazine.
No, it was in a book that somebody sent.
Right.
And I didn't want to bring it up, because it is a bit sad, really. That this, young lad, there's a picture of him sat there with his mum, and...
What? Carl!
Well,
Carl!
Forget it.
It's impossible.
Well,
there must have been more to the story,
He
Carl.
can't not have a brain. Hearing and sight is a concept within the brain. That's all it is, right?
Yeah.
The ears are just receptacles. They're just, So...
But that's why it was in this book. It was a book of mysteries.
Carl, if you're reading a book and you see a photo and you guess at what you think the story might be, that doesn't make it true. That doesn't make it fact.
I looked at it because I thought he looks like an happy lad.
Sure.
And I read about it and I thought, that's weird. Like you've said, the fact that he hasn't got a brain but he can see and he can hear.
No! Impossible!
Well,
Impossible.
okay.
Go on. I don't know who to believe. Listen, we haven't done it for a while. White Van Man. I thought there's some interesting questions raised today, and I think it might be nice to just throw them Carl's
I think we
direction.
set Carl up again in the last hour as a person that people want to know his opinions on the world.
If you're not familiar with it, on Saturdays the Sun newspaper asks a typical white van driver questions his opinions on the week's news, and we thought we'd throw these in the direction of Carl.
Good.
And then what do you make of this teenage thug, Carl, Mickey Carroll, who spent 4 months in jail and he's won 9.7 million on the lottery? Is that justice? When you think of all the good people that are going hungry? And there's a lad there and he's won...
Did he buy the ticket before he went in?
No, I think he bought it once he'd come out.
So he's done his time.
He's done his time.
Fair enough then, he's been punished.
Yeah.
Right? He's bought a ticket. He's had a lot of bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's having a bit of good luck.
Quite
luck to
right.
him.
Next one.
Are you concerned that now he's got all that money, he could turn into like a sort of mastermind villain? You know, like a James Bond style villain? He's got a criminal streak, we know that. Is that a concern for you? I mean,
Well, we
imagine
don't.
that. He could build some kind of underwater
We
fortress.
don't. With my lawyer's hat on, we don't know that.
Yeah, well.
God.
Well, he'd have to prove that he didn't have a criminal streak. I'd say you've been in jail for 4 months.
Yeah, but sometimes people are bad because they haven't got any money, so he might be
Interesting
an
point.
angel of gold now. Or whatever the saying is.
1 in 5 children aged between 11 and 16 go on booze binge sessions at least once a week. That's terrifying news, isn't it?
Kids, they know too much now.
Yeah.
You
Compared to you, yeah.
Despair.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Listen to this one, right?
Go on.
My dad had me niece in the car, right, running her to school one day, and she was in the back of the car with a mate, and they chatting away about stuff like kids do. And they got onto the topic of one of the mates, and he said, I mean, you've got to remember, my niece, this point, was probably about 5 or 6, something like that, right? In the back of the car, talking about My Little Pony, whatever it is they play with. Subject changed. Oh, that Lisa in our class, she's a lesbian, isn't she?
Right.
That was that's what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Chatting away about it.
Just openly talking about lesbianism.
And probably, you know, this is the topic that they're talking about in the pub when they're having out drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they might have thought lesbian was a funny word or something. You don't necessarily know the ins and outs of it, do they?
He's weird though, isn't it? Because when I was younger at school, you didn't you swore a little bit, but it wasn't like major swear words, and you sort of did a little bit of nicking, but nothing like they get up to now. I mean,
my girlfriend, when she was about 7 or 8, just walking to school with her mum, and she called her a C-U-N. Right?
You are joking.
No, she said, because she thought it was a big. She said she thought it was a big furry animal. So she was being nice, and I remember, where'd you do that? Where'd you do that? Like, just heard it at school. So they might not know what it means.
Well, I tell you, I'm gonna have to use kind of euphemisms here to tell this story, but when I was at school, I learned, the stronger version, it's not the same word, but it's very similar with one letter changed. I'm gonna use twit.
Yeah.
You know the word I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna use the word twit to replace it, right? And I went round...
You think they're twat?
Yeah.
All
that's what I'm thinking of. And, so can I say it? Am I allowed to say it?
No, it's weird though, because some people from Cornwall use that like saying twit. So, if people listen in Cornwall...
Do you know what a twit is? A pregnant goldfish.
Well,
I learned the stronger version of twit.
Yeah.
Twat. For those that aren't sure. I learned this in school when I was like 10 or whatever, and I didn't know what it meant. I thought it was just a stronger version of twit. Yeah. I thought it was just if you were really annoyed with someone because they were a real twit.
Because I is worse than I.
Exactly, apparently. So, Carl would be a twit. And so I started using this at home because I didn't realise what it meant. I started using this at home. Oh, you twit, you're a twit. And saying it to my dad, you're a twit, but not saying twit. Yeah. And my dad didn't know what it meant either.
That's great.
I couldn't believe. So he started using it as well, right? So then we'd be driving in the car. He'd be saying to my mum, "You stupid," say to my mum, "You don't pull over, you're gonna bum it, you twat." Saying this. Then I learned at school from Mark Johnson what it really meant.
Yeah.
Stopped using it, obviously finding out it was quite an offensive word.
Yeah.
I didn't want to bring it up to my dad. I didn't want to sit my dad down and say, "Dad, you know that word we've been saying?
Yeah.
You know what it means?" So now, to this day, I never brought it up with him. So we'll be driving, I'll go in for Christmas, we'll be driving around, he'll be calling my mum that word. Left, right and centre. I think she knows. I think she's just embarrassed. Or she's just upset and she knows what it means. She goes, "Why does he keep calling me this terrible word?" But he's the only one, I think, in our family who doesn't know what it means. No one's got the guts to say. I don't know whether I should tell him this Christmas.
What a twat.
I know.
Good to hear that again.
Always good to hear that.
Suede. Animal Nitrate. Carl's all flustered because there isn't a record set up, but he's getting all tizzy. He's been more worried about his competitions than sorting out putting records on ready. What?
I'm after Steve's Song for a Lover.
Well, I'll tell you what, why didn't you carry on with your educating Ricky section? I'll have a look on the
We'll keep it going, Steve.
Yeah,
Cover.
you keep
Go on. Go on then, right, okay. We've had a few emails. Anyone got it right, Carl? Anyone
Educating Ricky, that's the final one. We've got to get that out of the way.
We've got to get Rockbusters as well, though.
We can do that at the end, we can
Go on then.
But we've only got 5 minutes left.
Come on, just do Educating Ricky.
Right.
God.
The last one that we haven't done is he's a bit of a nuisance.
Go on then.
Again, not really that interesting.
Thanks.
No, like, again, I spoke to you in the week, and I had much better things, like when I tell you about Brian Blessed climbing Everest, and for some reason it made him, it played havoc with his belly, and he followed through, and he had to clean up.
Shut himself?
Yeah, using ice and snow.
Why are you telling me that Brian Blessed... in what way is telling me that Brian Blessed shit himself once in any way educational?
Because I was saying how he was climbing Everest, right?
Right.
I give it to him, he's an actor and that, but he gave that a go.
Yeah.
Right? It played...
What's the point of that, you'd say, wouldn't you?
You'd say, God, he's you know...
So he's alright. Me doing a boxing match for no reason is rubbish, but him climbing Everest and shitting himself...
Yeah, he did that.
...is commendable.
Right, and he's only gonna, like, go and do it again. He's gonna climb it again.
Yeah, but he might not shit himself this time.
Yeah, but what's the point in going? Nothing's changed up there.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
Once you've been...
Well, it has. They've probably cleared it up by now. Like, but, it's slip on it.
I can't even be bothered telling you this one, because...
Come on! Just
honest,
do it, or do it now!
Steve, how we doing?
Look, no, never mind that. Look, just tell me what that means. Oh, he's a nuisance. Oh, this is so annoying, Carl. I'm gonna go mental.
Right,
talk.
Right, listen, I'm just putting this in here, right? Right, nuisance is a bit of a nuisance.
Yeah.
Apparently, the old fella who used to hang people...
1700s?
Yeah. He used to be able to tell somebody's weight just by looking at them. Right? That's a bit of a bonus fact.
We'll be the judge of that.
The thing that I wanted to tell you is, money for old rope, do you know what I'm saying? I can't even be bothered.
Yes, you're gonna tell me now. Come on, Carl.
Right,
I mean it.
Basically, money for old rope came from the... right.
What was all that about? He can tell someone's weight. What was that
bonus
for?
fact.
And Brian Blessed shitting himself. What are you... What? No, tell me that now. You nearly made me swear then. I'm getting really annoyed. I'm getting really annoyed now. Tell me this fact, Carl, or I'm gonna go mental.
Come on, Carl, time's running out.
More that people, years ago, when people used to be hung, right?
Right.
If you didn't like the person who's been hung, you'd go, God, I really don't like him. And so you never forget the time.
Presumably if they're being hung, we take that as read.
Yeah. But, so they never forget afterwards to get the hangman to get the rope and to cut it up into little pieces, and he'd sell them. He'd sell the little pieces of rope to people.
See, Carl, that's the most interesting thing, if it's true, that you've come up with.
Right, okay. And so so they sell the rope?
They sell the rope, and it's money for old rope.
Money for old rope?
Meaning, like, you know, God, it's easy to make money, that all they have to do is cut it up and sell it.
I'm cynical.
I'm not so convinced.
Right, listen, we're really tight. We haven't even got time for a last track. We've got an ad break, and we've got to give out...
Okay, give the answers then. This is ridiculous.
So, Steve, do you want to pick a winner?
I've got a winner when you give us the answers.
Okay, so the first clue was, that army has got some nice trenches.
Yeah.
That was DW.
Who's that?
Dandy Warhols.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Alright.
That's good, yeah.
The second one, the top of them curtains are wrecked, all the material is worn.
Yeah.
HV, that's Holly Valance.
Oh, he got a phone call for a woman saying I haven't heard it, and he was talking to her off air, and she went, what is it? So-and-so said them's curtains. She went, right. He said, you know the thing around the top of the curtain is a palmet, not a valance, and he went, cut her off.
Yeah, but... My auntie's always making balances on everything. I'll tell you about that next week, right?
I'm looking forward to that.
Right.
Is this the one that farted for 5 minutes?
Yeah, the very same.
Yeah.
Right? So, we'll talk about that. I was in Texas, I tripped up, I landed on my knees in a puddle, WH, wet knee Houston, right?
Wet knee Houston.
Yeah. So,
you're a maniac.
So, who's a winner?
We've got Pete, Catherine and Laura in Newcastle upon Tyne. They're listening online, I assume, and they're going to get
Digital.
those great prizes. And remember, they've got loads of stuff. They've got the DVD here, they've got Linda Green, they've got Stone Roses, they've got another compilation, and Executive Decision.
What did you read about Brian Blessed? Is it actually true, or have you lied with someone else?
It was an interview with him in it.
And what did he say? Come on, what did he say?
He said I climbed Everest and I played havoc with me belly. Let's talk about it next week. We've really run out now.
Oh, you're a fool.